brothers and sisters, and friends. This afternoon we want to talk about the ballot or the bullet. The ballot or the bullet explains itself. We have a fight that's common to all of us. We suffer political oppression, economic exploitation, and social degradation. Today it's time to stop singing and start swinging.
Hey. Good morning.
Hey, check. Is this thing on? Can you hear me?
Nice little hot. Welcome. Fresh edition of First Sky Omaha in the morning.
Am I coming in hot?
Happening right now. I'm coming in. I was coming in hot.
Oh, okay.
I think, yeah. Let us know how we sounded.
Yeah.
Most definitely. Appreciate you joining us on this, what is this, Monday already?
Yeah, man. June already.
Already June the 2nd. 2025. I almost said 1925. 2025. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Some of the things going on, you can't tell it ain't 1925.
Man, you ain't lying about that. Special edition of First Sky Omaha in the morning happening this morning.
In the morning.
Oh yeah, my bad. Step on the line. We definitely have some special guests coming on in this morning. I can't wait to speak to Miss Kimara Snipes. Been too long. And then we have Brother Qasim and also Brother Sherman Wells coming on a little later on the show. We're gonna go past 8 this morning, so we'll have a little extra time to be able to speak to them. And we appreciate you guys coming through. So
RG.
Black Dynamite, yeah. They know what's happening. They I don't know if we're gonna get still a little hot. Thanks, Pop.
Okay,
I don't know if they're gonna get a full 2 hours, but it will be extended. Yes.
Yeah, a little extra.
Everybody's coming in. I appreciate everybody joining us this morning. Thanks for joining us on this Monday morning. Let us know how your weekend was. Definitely want to hear about that, buddy. How was your weekend? Any major developments?
No major developments, but yeah, living the dream, man. Living the dream. Not gonna lie, man. Spent the day in the studio with Big Boy and the guys. Just, yeah. I would say this. Very excited about this Outkast Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction. I'm now without spilling some beans. I'm hearing some good things, man. Y'all make sure y'all tuned in for a good show. And yeah, it's exciting times. Exciting time around the dungeon.
Love it. That's what's happening. Definitely exciting times around Omaha, Nebraska right now too. As you can see, there's a lot of activity. Shout out to everybody that is posting on Friends of First Sky Omaha. This is where we're pulling a lot of the information. And I got to tell you, man, it was good to see everybody dressed up for the MX 100 gala.
Man,
nice. It was
nice.
I
missed that.
Pop says good Monday morning and mad love from Las Vegas. Appreciate you, Pops. Black Dynamite says good morning, y'all. Michelle Moreno gives us a good morning, everyone. Anthony Hart in the house saying good morning.
Okay.
Leah Keister says happy marvelous Monday to all. That's what's up. Majee Miller Jenkins is in the chat saying happy Pride. Reminder, Pride is a protest.
Okay.
Good reminder. Michelle Moreno says sounding good. Thank you. Pops giving me a little hot right now. So Black Dynamite says a 2-hour show, not quite, but almost. Michelle Moreno says I can't wait. Mark Manor says good morning. I thought it best everyone on the comments then realized it was in a May video. Say again. Oh, I beat everyone. Sorry about that, man. We still waking up.
A little bit.
Low key. Said he thought he beat everyone on the comments and then realized it was in a May video.
Went back in the comments, huh?
Shabazz says Grand Rising. Huru Sarah beloved. What's up, bro? We definitely we got some footage. You've been going viral. You already know this. We're gonna be talking about it today. The brothers are coming on, and I'm glad you chimed in because I would definitely want to reach out to you and have you on this week too, if we could have you on and talk about exactly what went down at 360. We're still kind of talking about all of that, and of course, we definitely have to have you on and talk about it. Sean McCarthy in the chat is saying morning, everyone. Hope everyone had a good weekend. Appreciate it. Heather Williams gives us a good morning, everyone. Wanda Lewis says good morning. Tim Clark in the house said good morning, brothers. What's going on, Brother Clark?
Yeah, top of the morning to you, brother.
Yep. Jason Bryson says, "Top of the morning, gentlemen." Okay. Good morning
Peace.
to you. Like that, I said, well, if that's what it turns into, not a bad thing. Talking about the 2-hour show. So
hey, keep hope alive. Might get late.
keep hope alive. Of course, we know there's a lot going on in community updates. We're definitely going to jump into some right off the bat. I just want to go ahead and start it off with some good stuff. Some good stuff, man. Shout out to brother Michael Scott, who just won an award yesterday he was at the Omaha Press Club, and he won the Omaha Press Club Journalist of Excellence Hall of Fame yesterday. So yeah, man, it's a long time coming, and I'm glad that they did that. Recognize him at the Omaha Press Club. That's what's up. That's really what's happening. So yeah, shout out to Michael Scott and his award. For those of you who don't know, we worked with him early on in the Mind and Soul days on the radio channel that was over at Malcolm X Memorial Foundation, and had him on to start the original morning show with us.
Man,
morphed into what we're doing now. So
low key, I'm sitting in Michael Scott's seat. If you
I didn't think about it like that. You sure?
Yeah. But I just wanted to make a comment to you, like just kudos to you for having the thought to like even bring on a Michael Scott to make sure that having the importance of a journalist to the caliber of a Michael Scott speaking to the community, informing the community, talking about news. Yeah, man, your idea, man.
Well, hey, man, the brother was available, so I just got lucky with the timing with that. So I'm glad he did. And shout out to Tim Clark, man. People don't know this, but low key, Tim Clark was the major reason why Michael Scott got supported during those years at Mind and Soul, because we didn't have no money. So
man, making moves. But yeah, congrats to Michael Scott. Well deserved.
Congrats to Michael Scott. Appreciate it. Marlon Harrison said the 360 media is going viral on TikTok. It's going viral everywhere, bro. He said, I've seen about 6 to 7 different videos from a few different angles. Shout out to you, Marlon Harrison, alumni of the Content Creators Camp.
All right.
Check out his videos that he made. He made some wrap-up videos for the gala that just happened. And he put them on Friends of First Guy Omaha. You can go over there and check them out. But shout out to you, man, for doing the work, bro. You really kind of showing what was going on. Here's some of the images from it. Of course, brother Terrell McKinney, Senator Terrell McKinney, put some respect on his name. With Alicia Shabazz, Malcolm X's daughter, at the gala. Look at brother McKinney. He be clean when he be dressed up.
Dapper down.
He be dapper down for real. Marlon Harrison, of course, we talk about dapper down as well. My man Shamari, guys, sporting the bow ties. Check them out. Yeah, y'all love them country boy hats and stuff, don't you?
Hey man, hey, I'm from Nebraska.
Shout out to Clarice Jackson, who was there at the spot all dressed up with John and Viv Ewing, our new mayor-elect. They were in the house as well. Man, Lakeisha Green with Joanna LaFleur Jiki. Man, I mean, everybody was dressed up, looking good, coming out. Oh, that's not the image I was trying to get yet. But at the gala, it kind of went down. Everybody hit me and said, it was very powerful, and a lot of the folks that were from friends, a lot of the First Guy Omaha fam, a lot of the News Gang fam, Sherman Wells, everybody dressed up coming through, man. It's
in a nice place like the Durham. It was a situation.
It was a situation that went down for sure. So shout out to everybody dressed. Man, Sherman Wells dressed to the nines. Come on, man. But in there with the fam, yeah, bro.
All that melanin popping in that nice ballroom.
Big time. Yep. And in the chat real quick, Pops is giving congratulations to Michael Scott. Stacey Jean says, good morning, First Guy fam. Appreciate you. Mama God in the house saying good morning, fam. Like Dynamite says, we got to get Paul some of the square toe boots. Never ever. You can't see walking in a square toe boots, bro. Just saying.
Cali boy.
Cali boy for real. Some of the other things are going on. Of course, we already talked about our special guest that's coming through. Kimara Snipes is coming through in a bit. Also, brother Qasim is coming through, and Sherman Wells. We got lots to talk about when it comes to everything that's happening. 360 meeting some of the politicians that have been speaking up, and some of the things that's happening is really going off on Friends of First Guy Omaha. If you guys haven't been paying attention, this is definitely where the conversations are continuing for sure. So definitely go check if there's any big time statements or things happening. It winds up over there, and you all wind up commenting on it very extensively. So definitely you can go down some rabbit holes there for sure in a big way. Another haps is happening. Maggie Miller Jenkins is is saying Susan Brown is hosting a free program for kids at Roper Elementary from 8:30 to 12:30. Free lunch, breakfast, and clubs through the summer. Okay,
Nice. Okay.
appreciate that. We have to check that out. Also, Assembly of the Saints in Sherman Wells Untamed put together their thing yesterday for the kids, and I thought that was a really awesome thing. Let us know if you made that event. I forgot what it was called right now, but it's their summer program for the kids. Let us know if you made that. Love to hear about it for sure. Also, off the beaten path too, man. We got a few things that's coming up. Of course, this Juneteenth flag raising ceremony is happening today. This is happening today at 11:30. So,
Yeah.
if
Okay.
you go out there on the Deuce, man. You know what I'm saying? The Union for Contemporary Art on the 24th and Lake. There's gonna be food, flag raising ceremony happening. All are welcome. A lot of people getting honored here, and shout out to Union for Contemporary Art for putting this on, man. They really kind of stepping up as far as the neighborhood is concerned, and just being a part of the celebrations that are happening there in a big way. So shout out to that. If you want to get out there today, see the flag raising that's happening for sure. Also, got to give a shout out to Omaha's own Kyle Eustace. She's out in
Hey.
Colorado now. Her article in Thrasher magazine with Ice Cube just dropped, which is poignant because he's definitely working on some music. Now that we
Yeah,
have a little
man.
inside information on some of that, thank you, buddy.
Hey.
Appreciate that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But yeah, there are major writers coming out of Omaha that are doing major things as far as music journalism is concerned, and that's part of the news gang too. So shout out to Kyle Eustace for always speaking to the legends, and shout out to Ice Cube for putting something together, some new music. We need new music from the elders for sure.
Yeah.
Big way. Roscoe Wallace in the chat saying good morning, brothers. Good morning to you. Appreciate you coming on in, man. Lots of people coming in, man. Replenish the vocalist. Okay. Dope name.
Morning.
Dope name. Good morning to you as well. Michelle Moreno says 20 weeks of summer. I did make it yesterday. 20 weeks of summer. Thank you very much. This
Okay. Okay.
yeah, what's the summertime program from Untamed and Assembly of the Saints. So yeah, cool. I'd love to hear about that for sure. How that went down. So I appreciate you giving us that information as well. Got too many buttons I'm pressing over here. And and also just to move on, there's also a Black Wall Street movie and discussion coming up on Saturday, June the 7th at the Great Plains Black History Museum. This is a event that is pretty poignant right now because of what's happening in Tulsa, Oklahoma, where they call what they call Black Wall Street, the original Black Wall Street that pretty much got burned down by very very jealous surrounding communities.
They call it what you call it, man. White folk
Killed hundreds of black folks. Just couldn't see us have nothing. Didn't like it. Burned it down. But also in Tulsa, Oklahoma, which by the way, our own Willie Barney and the Empowerment Network and the 360 meetings that they had put together, other cities have been following this model, and Tulsa, Oklahoma is one of them. So Brother Barney was out there with the Mayor Monroe Nichols, because they just announced that they have a $105 million trust called the Greenwood Trust that they put together. This is kind of an effort towards reparations that they're doing. And they're putting this trust together, and the trust is supposed to help with housing and some other things, and grow the money in the trust and help with housing and things like that. I would definitely suggest you go back and check and see what's going on with that. Because even in the midst of what's going on in our current administration, there are still people moving forward with the idea of reparations and actually putting some money where their mouth is on it.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Okay. Yeah. So here's a link to. Oh, there it is. Tulsa launches 100 million Greenwood Trust to address 1921 race massacre legacy. So apologizing, addressing it, putting some money behind it. And I don't know how much more we can expect people to do. I'll go ahead and put this link in the chat so you can check it out for yourself and read up on the situation. But buddy, you were telling me that Decatur is doing something with reparations too, right?
Yeah. It's been reported that the city of Decatur proper, which again is outside of the city of Atlanta, but kind of equivalent to like Bellevue or Papillion, you know what I mean? But they've issued and created their own, similar to, speaking of being a Cali boy, similar to California, created their own reparations task force. Again, exactly what that means, what that looks like. I'm hearing more and more communities kind of come up with that type of situation. But it seems to be different and all, but it starts the conversation, which is definitely a step forward. So, shout out to Decatur. And now with Mayor Ewing, I don't know, maybe we can push for something similar.
We'll see.
We'll see.
Before we get to a break, one more last happening that's going on. Reignite to Unite is firing up June 4th, which happens to be my birthday. June 4th coming up.
Hey, a couple days.
So June 4th, 8 o'clock. Definitely check out Reignite to Unite. As a matter of fact, I think I have a registration. I'll put that in the chat too if you want to register to go. This is kind of a good thing to check out, man. Omaha Land Bank. This has been put on by Spark, and then Front Porch is there too. So if you have any ideas about doing any investing in any kind of real estate or buying from the land bank, building something on it, doing some development, even small development, learning how this stuff works and learning where the money's at and learning who's the players here is definitely something that you want to check out. This is a development symposium. So again, we got people like Don Curry that's out here doing a development, with 2 or 3 buildings that is going to be able to house, 6 to 9 families. And that kind of stuff is very possible, especially with the prices of the land bank land that you can get. And then he's kind of proven that this can happen. So if you want to do some development, I would highly suggest you check that out and get busy with it. And I'm definitely going to do that. I think at some point that is inevitable for everybody, especially in this housing crisis. You got to kind of know what your options are, man. There's some situations where it'll be easier for you to buy like a piece of land bank land and build something on it, just as much money as it would cost to build a house or buy a house elsewhere. You got to really kind of open your mind up and think about it all. Think about every move that you can make on that. So that's what's up. Tim Clark says, keep stirring the coffee.
Hey, okay.
Love it. Majee Miller Jenkins says, bet if we ate a billionaire, it would taste like 40 acres and a mule.
Man.
Yeah, man. That's what's up. Sue Kessler Hagen gives us a good morning. Appreciate you guys coming in this morning. And we'll definitely get to the conversation and the special guest here coming up in the meantime, between time. Buddy, you looking at anything else? You got something over there on your mind? I can see you zoning in on the thing.
Yeah. I'm just sorting through things and making sure we're not missing anything as far as any big stories, because this is pretty much our focus for the day as far as this breaking down what happened at the empowerment meeting and really what's the step forwards and just having the conversation as a community and all of its layers, because this is a multi-layered conversation. And as Paul mentioned at the top of the show, we do have several guests coming through actually here in a few minutes. So preparing for that. Sister Kimara Snipes, also brother Qasim, Shabazz, and Sherman Wells joining us for an extended conversation. So man, big shout out to some of the newer names we're seeing in the chat. A lot of people joining the conversation. Really appreciate that. Let your mind be free, let your voice be heard, as we always like to say around here. But yeah, man, again, diving into not only my big point, if you missed our conversation on Friday about how this situation at the Empowerment Network 360 meeting has been discussed, a lot of focus on the interaction between the brothers and Sheriff Aaron Hansen and even Brother Willie Barney, and I understand that as far as the yelling and the confrontation, and we're going to address that a little later on. But I again do want to talk about what came out of that meeting. What did Sheriff Aaron Hansen have to say? So again, definitely looking forward to our conversation with Sister Kimara about that. There are a few news reports coming out as far as again, Channel 7 reporting apparently the Douglas County Sheriff's Office is planning to meet with the family to see the body camera footage. Again, there hasn't been a full video that has been seen by the public, or I believe anybody outside of the police and sheriff's departments. So again, the family finally being able to see at least a more comprehensive account of what happened, beyond just the still shots, which a lot of people per social media comments and responses saying that wasn't satisfactory at all. So looking at that situation, and as Paul mentioned, dissecting a few of the other statements, a few politicians finally speaking up, a few have been present, a few haven't. So again, just really breaking down what's going on. Also, this platform is for you, the community, to kind of decompress a lot of emotions, a lot of tension in the community. So again, if there's anything on your hearts and minds, feel free to drop that into the chat. That's what we're here for. That's what the chat is for. Again, we're here to kind of come together, come to an understanding, and come with a plan to move forward. So with that, here we are. Paul B.
Yep.
Focus for today. That's the thread. What say you, man?
Yeah, man. We'll go ahead and go jump to a break. I apologize for not jumping to your thread. I don't know why I spaced that out, but you got it. So
You're good.
appreciate that. Appreciate that. We'll jump into a quick break and we'll come back and jump into. As a matter of fact, we'll come back with some videos because it come to my attention that a lot of people had not seen the videos that are floating around there that about what happened at the 360 meeting because you're not really allowed to be filming what goes on in 360 meetings, but a couple people broke their cameras out and they are on private pages. So I posted a lot of stuff. Miss Erica Felt brought it to my attention that a lot of the stuff that I was posting, they couldn't see unless they were friends with the people that were posting. So we got a couple of videos that we'll show when we get back. So stay tuned for that. Again, you're listening to First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
My name is Paul B. Thanks for joining us. Chat chimers, ghost listeners, and I'm sure we got some monitoring spirits that are peeping it out as well. So stay tuned. Yeah, we'll be right back, y'all.
We'll see you.
Get ready, Omaha! Celebrate the 5th anniversary of the Omaha Freedom Festival, a love and laughter event. Enjoy live music by platinum R&B group Silk. Comedians HaHa Davis, Bubba Dub, and Skeet Carter vibe with DJ Chain. Hosted by Kenny Howell and Josh Jones. June 14th at the Malcolm X Outdoor Event Center in Omaha. Tickets available at omahafreedomfestival.com or in person at LaFlores Fashion. Omaha Freedom.
Man, shout out to the Freedom Festival doing their thing coming up here very shortly. We're gonna have Brother Calvin Williams on the show on Friday and talk to him about everything that he went through putting this together in the last 5 years of it happening. So he been sticking in there like nobody's business, man. Shout out to Calvin Williams for real, and the work that he's doing. We'll visit with him on Friday. With that, we're going to jump into a couple videos real quick so we can kind of see what some of the things that are going down that went down at the 360 meeting. So stay tuned, and if you got some kids around, just let them know a little bit of profanity happening here. So this is just a shout out on that. But stay tuned. We'll come back after this video and definitely get into the discussion about it. So here
we pay their salaries, and again, we do not pay them to murder our children. So what's going to happen here, we're going to be men and we're not going to be afraid. You understand that? You do not kill our children. And this psychopath right here, he hired the last killer. Okay? You do not kill our children. You are not allowed to kill our children. And Chief of Police, okay? You need to hire civilized professional police officers so we can remain civilized, okay? Right. Okay? All right? And I'm just telling you, no longer we will remain civilized as long as you deal with your trash. Right. Take out your trash.
So that was Brother Jahi Shabazz that was up in the police chief's face and the Sheriff Hance's face. And what you can't really tell from that video is that there were a lot of other folks there. They were kind of deep in the room, all lined against the back wall. We'll have Brother Qasim's going to talk about that a little bit when he comes on. But that's the clip that has gone viral. I've been seeing this all over. I think there's well over 1 million views on this now. Whole country's watching. And brother, we'll have to have Brother Jahi Shabazz come on and talk about what his feelings were behind that. And yeah, man, it's really interesting to see brothers stand up. A lot of people are commenting about brothers standing up on the fact that we're upset about what's happening here. So why shouldn't they hear it like that? Here's the other one that we're going to play here before we get into the discussion. Stay tuned. This is with Sherman Wells. Like I said, if you got kids in the room, just letting you know that there's going to be some profanity on this one. Check this video out here.
About your order, really. We don't care about your order. We're not taking no order. This is a disruption. You're not running shit the way you normally do here. Shut the fuck up. What's your question, bro? I don't give a fuck. And whoever don't like to leave, because we not. We have no respect for this community. You pushing that narrative of community. Say what you got to say, brother. Right here.
So there you go, Sherman Wells. If you don't recognize some of those ones in the video, of course, that was Brother Sherman Wells in the video. That was very, very irate at that moment, yelling at Willie Barney, yelling at some of the other folks there. Also, you saw Brother Shabazz, Brother Qasim, standing in back of Willie Barney when that was going down. So you know, and then you can see there was other people in the room that were talking and yelling and stuff as well. So very, very heated situation. We can understand. In a big way, man. You can't, you know, we all feeling it from Brother Ibrahim's death by a police officer out in front of his house. Can't keep killing the kids and expect nothing to explode. Brother Marlon Harrison was at the meeting as well, and he's the one that kind of brought in some of the news from there. He says, what do you say? I hope a tech person in the room with the family, just in case they edit or AI the footage. Sometimes regular people can't tell if a video is edited or not. Yeah, well, it's a bigger conversation, Brother Harrison. We'll definitely be talking about. We're kind of on that tip right now with this survey to find out if AI is really affecting how you look at your news. But we still have people with the original footage, and shout out to the people that were there that shot that. I had the name somewhere and forgot to write them down, so I have to go back and look at that. But yeah, there you go. Heather Williams says, I know that's right, Sherman. Von Chapman gives us a good morning. Appreciate you guys coming in. I definitely want to hear your thoughts on some of these things. You know that we're all about trying to create some unity around here with the Black community, especially. So it's unfortunate to see, but it's also very understandable, like how upset people really are on this. We'll dive into this conversation. I'll let Buddy lead the conversation, and we'll talk about this before we get our first guest in. So with that, Buddy, what say you on what's going on here with this meeting?
Yeah, I'll start with the Willie Barney of it all, and you know, kind of our stance as far as unity, and you know, we got a governor to elect coming up. We got a county attorney to get up out of the paint. We have a mayor to hold accountable. We have a city councilwoman to hold accountable. City council people in general to hold accountable. So there's still a lot of work, and that work can be best done collectively. Also, with that said, there are two narratives that are naturally opposing each other, and we do have to figure out how to navigate through that. And I think we can figure it out. But of course, on one side of the narrative is the narrative that is coming out of the Empowerment Network. Let's just call it what it is, as far as the Omaha Police Department and the work that, you know, has been done to have a low death toll and have a low crime rate, and you know, this kind of narrative that we've been talking about as far as Omaha Police Department being one of the model police departments in the nation. You know, and other police departments actually looking at not just the Omaha Police Department, but the Empowerment Network, and how the Empowerment Network and police model has worked, and like this national narrative, like this is a model, this is a solution that works, and this needs to be duplicated and applied in other areas, which is why, as you saw earlier, you know, Mr. Willie Barney is in areas like Tulsa talking to their mayors, because he has that relationship with other communities, other Black communities around the nation, as far as trying to replicate a model that they feel works. So again, this narrative that the Omaha Police Department is a model situation, and this is a model situation, is a narrative that benefits not only the Omaha Police Department, but the Empowerment Network. And with that said, without the 360 meetings, then would we have really had the opportunity to even have the interaction that we had, as far as, again, brothers being able to speak directly to, in the face of the sheriff, and say what they got to say, for, you know, good, bad, or indifferent. So, you know, to your point, Paul, as far as our whole conversation about the Empowerment Network, and, you know, the question of, well, if they weren't doing what they are doing, then how, you know, what would be happening? Like, how bad would it be? So, you know, there's that narrative. but also there's, the very real fear, very real pain of the community and the very real relationship between the community and the Omaha police. While again, this national narrative is being pushed. And when you look at the statistics, when you look at the numbers, there actually might be something there. But when you talk about the lived experience, it's something different. And that is what the people are responding to. And that is something that is going to have to be addressed. And that is something that is going to have to be discussed. And that's what we're here to do today, is to talk about that real lived experience. And I think our first guest is prepared. And that's somebody who, can definitely talk about lived experience. But Paul, we'll say you.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and bring her in right now. Shout out to Precious McKesson is in saying good morning, First Sky. I appreciate you. I always think about your comments and your voice on what's going on as well. You've been kind of news gang and delivering some of the news as well. So we appreciate that. Some of the things that we're understanding about what's happening has been on your page. Also, some of the things that's been on that we understand is happening has been on somebody else's page that's sitting in the wings right now. We're going to bring her in. I tell you what, so I consider her part of our research and development team in a big way, because we wouldn't get half the news we get if it wasn't for Miss Kimara Snipes and her notebook. Miss Kimara Snipes is in the chat this morning with us. Good morning. How you doing?
Good morning. How y'all doing?
Good.
Doing all right. Doing all right. Thank you for joining us at the crack of the dawn in the mornings.
It is. Kind of do better at not being up this early doing stuff, to be honest with you. But I'll do it for y'all.
Well, thank you, sister. Thank you.
Appreciate that.
We'll
keep that in mind next time we got something going on here.
It's all good.
Go ahead.
Paul and I talked about it, and I personally thought you'll be the perfect person to kind of join into this conversation as far as what happened at the Empowerment Network meeting. As I mentioned, if the platform provides something, like at least at the very, very least, for those who might have something to say about the Empowerment Network, the 360 meetings provide an opportunity to have what just happened. So without that, where would that be? And just starting there, you have somebody who has been there at all the 360 meetings. So let's start there from your perspective. Like, why do you go to the meetings? And let's just start there.
It's kind of changed over time. I have been going to these meetings for actually about 10 years this year. I started off as a requirement for Bannister's Leadership Academy, who I used to work for when I first got out of the hospital. That's why I started going. For me, I think it's the networking opportunity and the ability to have all these different people who represent these different organizations that provide some sort of service to community, having them in one space is a lot of access and a great way to share information and communicate information. The mission, from what I remember, is to end gun violence and to promote like prosperous neighborhoods. So as time has gone on, my interest has been in, how can we get this happening in neighborhoods? Because even though it is North Omaha focused, because it is, I have consistently reminded them that, I got people shooting from my yard in South Omaha. You know what I'm saying? There's people, my friend's nephew got killed across the street from my house, in South Omaha. So trying to bring that aspect too. I know people say that there's nothing that happens in that space. Whenever there is something major that happens, there is a lot of sort of collective action going on and trying to figure out how to address this issue in this moment with the resources that we have here in this space. And so, I've been going to that meeting weekly, and I do battle sometimes with the, I had put that post out on my page talking about how, when Qasim and them came in, it very much reminded me of years ago at the Empowerment Network conference when the mayor was there. Qasim and them came in, and I was completely oblivious, y'all. I had no clue what was happening. I thought it was part of the program. Like, what the hell was I thinking about? But when they came in, I had a whole list of questions I wanted to ask that day at the 360 meeting, because I knew that 360 has built this culture of if something very dramatic happens in community, I believe that they have leveraged this power to where there is this expectation that you will show up at this meeting that next Wednesday at 2:00 p.m. And I do not think that I think that if we did not have 360, we might not have had an opportunity to ask Aaron Hansen anything, much less in public like that, because he just doesn't strike me as somebody who's willing to be that person. But I'm saying I did everything I could to keep him up out that seat to begin with anyway. So some of this is a little bit personal. But yeah, when I saw Qasim and them came in, I took my questions, I remember, and I was like, oh, I ain't gonna have to ask anything. I knew that I listened to how people ask questions, and I listened to how Sherman asked questions, and I knew that he would likely have some of the same questions I had. And my questions were like, why were there no like marked cars anywhere, for somebody to see? Why were they there at 2:30 in the morning? I have more questions too, like when did this special operations group get created? And I already know because people who are in the sheriff's department give me information. You know what I'm saying? Everybody in there ain't happy with Aaron Hansen, and that's facts.
Whoa.
So, I have a lot of questions, but as far as in that space, when they came in there, I was happy to see them. Because when I go to 360 every week, and I don't think it's, I have my opinion, and I think I believe that people have roles. In my life, people have roles. Willie Barney's role is a convener and bringing people into a space. I don't see him as an upstander. I do a training I created on allyship, and there are different types of allies, and one of them is an upstander. I'm an upstander. And not even at the level of some other people, right? But I don't think that Willie Barney is necessarily the upstander.
Could you give us a definition of upstander real quick?
Somebody who's going to demand some sort of action right there in that moment, in your face. You know what I'm saying?
Stand up.
Door in, stand up, put the foot down, that type of person. Allyship is not easy. I tell people all the time, you might get fired. I've been fired for being an ally. Everybody ain't willing to risk that, and I get it. We trying to live out here. You know what I'm saying? I just, I have this little thing called faith, and I feel like God gonna take care of me regardless. So I'm gonna do whatever it is.
There you go.
Everybody, and I get it because we're all at different places in our journeys. You know what I'm saying? So I completely understand, which is why people have roles when it comes to me and how I operate. And so I think that the work that Qasim and Sherman and them are doing is necessary. We need that. We need the history of organizing. There have always been those groups, you know what I'm saying? And they're necessary in this fight, because that's what it is. It's a fight. I also believe in spiritual warfare, so there's some of that mixed up in there too. What were you saying, buddy? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I didn't want to cut you off, but I because we do have Qasim and Sherman coming on a little later on, and definitely want to speak to them about the role that they're playing and the manhood that they're bringing and that energy that they're bringing, and we definitely have to address that. But I wanted to speak to you directly because you got into the questions, and that's of course we'll talk to them about the interaction between Willie Barney and their role and the energy that they brought. But again, as Paul mentioned, we always rely on you for your notes and just your input on what actually came out of that. And beyond the post of how you felt about Brother Qasim, you also posted that you felt after what you heard that Sheriff Aaron Hansen should resign. Was I think
he should have never been there to begin with.
So let me ask, what were the answers to some of the questions that you had? That's a big thing that I wanted to talk to you about, because everybody's talking about the yelling, but what came out?
I didn't feel like we were really getting a lot of answers, but I think that the answer that we did get is that there was a lot of sloppy policing that happened that night. It sounded like, because there was a lot going on, okay? It was to the point where I couldn't even I didn't even have my pen taking notes no more. I'm just trying to keep up with what's happening because there's different things happening in different spaces. I'm trying to watch the conversation that Willie and Qasim are having. I'm trying to watch Penn over here talking to Aaron Hansen. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to watch the minister over there asking his question. I'm trying to listen to people in the back yelling out what they yelling out. There was a lot happening in that space, and I'm an empath. So like that day I was just overloaded. But I did not feel like Aaron Hansen was answering a lot of questions, but I did think that he was exposing just super sloppy policing. That's really what I saw in that day. I did, the video was something that came up numerous times, and it was something that they said needed to be shared with the family. And I think that Qasim and them made it very clear that that was the expectation. That was the demand. There were some things that I wanted to ask about that I wasn't able to ask about, and really not even for the police department, more so for community than anything. And that's just like, we got to find a way to, because something that Sherman brought up during the thing was that saying that you guys were talking about a little bit about how like there is this this thought process about like Todd Schmatter and the police department and how like just wonderful things are, but yet Sherman was talking about the numerous people that he encounters that talk about these different encounters they're having with police. And so like we got to find a way as community to document these encounters. So like find a way to just establish a way for just like community members to just safely document and report all these encounters that the people are having, because y'all report about how they only had like a handful of complaints against them and all these different things, and that's just not factual. I know that Leo Lewis and Riley Wilson are working on some stuff that will hopefully lead to helping just with like decreasing the number of encounters people even have with police. There are people doing things in other cities, in other states that are models that can be replicated in community, and that's something that they're looking into.
Let me jump in. Michelle Moreno in the chat said he wasn't answering questions. Shout out to Michelle Moreno for being in the room and hearing what's going on. I think that when I talked to Brother Qasim in particular, he told me that these brothers were just lying and not answering the questions. From your perspective, what questions were they not answering when asked by anybody in the room?
They kept asking about how come there was no unmarked cars. Why weren't you coordinating with the Omaha Police Department? There was a portion where they talked about how the young man was standing outside of the car, but yet the sheriff's deputy, unmarked, plain clothes, rode past. They were trying to figure out, well, if he was in fear and all these different things, why did he just let the man just get back into his car? They were asking really great questions that I think were stumping Aaron Hansen, because Aaron Hansen ain't Todd Schmatter. You know what I'm saying? Todd know how to get out here. You know how to talk to people. You know the things to say. Aaron is new to this. You know what I'm saying? So I think that he really got stumped while we were in that space.
Also, I heard it was asked, or it came out, that there was no coordination between the sheriff's department and the Omaha Police Department.
Coordination. They did not contact the police department at all. And it was interesting too, because I'm watching Chief Schmatter and he didn't say a word the whole time. He didn't say one word the whole meeting. And that spoke volumes to me as well. Like, how disrespectful, you know what I'm saying? Because there is a little bit of turf involved. Like, how dare you come over here, you know what I'm saying, and not coordinate with anybody at 2:30 in the morning in North Omaha. But I've been seeing the sheriff's department over here way more anyway. So expected something like this. But the word is that, he started this special operations group after he got there. He started this. So what I want to know is, like, how many arrests has this group made? How many of them have been in North Omaha? Who's on it? You know what I'm saying? Is it more people you're hiring from OPD and just putting on there? I want to know who's on the special operations group.
Let me hang on that point real quick, because that special operations group is new to everybody.
It's new to the sheriff's department.
Right. So we saw some documents that just allowed them to be to put this together, because everybody was asking that, like, what's the sheriff doing inside of the city, doing operations in people's houses at 2:30 in the morning in the first place? And it had to do with the mayor putting this thing in place, city council voting it in, and for the next 5 years there's a special sheriff situation that allows them to come in and do that. And nobody's really talking about how that came about. You know anything about that?
No, well, I saw the documents. I didn't read through them. I've been trying to protect my sanity. I did not read through those documents. But I did see Qasim or Sherman put them out on Facebook. When I saw that post, I said, of course, that don't surprise me at all.
Yeah, I posted that that came to my attention. I think it was Paul Philman or Wanda Lewis.
Maybe it was you I saw posted.
Yeah, and I thought I posted it to friends that posted on my page, so that's why nobody saw it. But then I was speaking to Brother Qasim and told him about it. He said, "Send me those right away." And he grabbed them and posted them, and then we've been getting comments all over the place. But this is to me, it's a big factor in what just happened. Because that stuff got signed maybe 2 months before this young brother got killed. 2 months before this operation where this young brother got killed. So they in there, they just brand new inside of the black community, not knowing how to act. We got to start from scratch. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, go ahead.
The reader tried to put people on to Aaron Hansen when they shared that video of him with that young man who was in handcuffs. You know what I'm saying? The reader tried, I tried, and I'll be very honest, there were people in that room on Wednesday who were kind of treating me kind of crappy when the sheriff's race was happening. You know what I'm saying? People who looked just like me who were supporting Aaron Hansen and treated me crappy. You know what I'm saying? But look, this is what happens. This is what happens.
And this is now you bringing me back some memories about that race and how they were trying to badmouth your friend out there,
Brother Gonzalez.
Gonzalez. Okay, man, I'm putting so here we are, man. Here we are a couple years
later.
You
see,
and Aaron Hansen's actions and stuff like that. Is what Kimmer been saying this whole time. Let me shift gears real quick. It's 6:46 right now. If you believe in the concept of time, if you're just joining us, we're here with Kimara Snipes, who is the hardest working woman in any genre that she's in. Whatever she's doing, she's gonna be out there premiere with it. I want to shift gears because Roscoe Wallace in the chat talking about Empowerment Network. I wanted to get your perspective about Empowerment Network. I know you've been vocal about your support and the good things they're doing. I want to hear your criticisms though. So let me jump in real quick with this comment by Roscoe Wallace. He said the Empowerment Network has given me and other leaders the opportunity to address these public officials directly. The problem is that the narrative that everyone that attends the meeting is supporting BS, disrespecting other leaders by saying everyone that attends 360 is supporting bull. I don't give a damn about how Hansen has handled. I reached out to my brothers and about how I felt and others being called out for attending. I have suggested that Willie Barney and the brothers sit down and talk about this in a more productive way. So I appreciate your comment, Brother Wallace. We are, everybody has hit me up like, what you gonna say? What you gonna say? Because they watch the show and they know that we have a certain opinion about certain things. They know that we have been working with Empowerment Network. We have been working with Brother Willie Barney. We have tried to put together Brother Barney, Brother Qasim, and they did have some conversations and that stuff fell apart. And it's because of these criticisms that I keep hearing back. What's your take on the
understanding? You know, Qasim and them had a conversation with Willie outside that day. So you know, that's my understanding. As far as all that other stuff, like, first of all, ain't nobody came and said nothing crazy to me about me attending any meeting. I don't think they will. And that's just part of like what happens. You know what I'm saying? People are entitled to their opinions. If they feel some type of way, they feel some type of way. But if people know you, they know you. Period. Right. If people know me, they know me, whether I'm at 360 or not. I will say this though, anybody talking about the meeting who's never been, I'm like, quit going off of what everybody else is saying and just attend a meeting. You know what I'm saying? Right. I'm not about to spend any time in a space that's completely wasting my time. Like, I'm just not going to do that. I will say this though, when it comes to like, you know, the ability to solve murders and all these different things with the police department, it's community that solves crimes. It's not police who solve crime. That's why they have detectives. You know what I'm saying? It's community that solves crimes. We are the ones that know what is happening in our communities. That's the reason why they need community policing, so they have better access to information like that. And to be honest with you, I asked Omaha Police Department for their definition of community policing back when I was working at the library, because I had a young man who by the way, now is sitting in prison for murder. Right? When he was 14, 15 years old, I had 10 police officers jump on him at the library. So I wanted to know, what's your definition of community policing? Because every community is different. So you can't just have one standard definition. I did not get an answer to that question from the chief, but it is what it is. The best example I ever saw of community policing was Kathy Belcastro Gonzalez Greg's wife, by the way, who was the first person I met in South Omaha when I was with Highland South Indian Hill Neighborhood Association, and we started doing National Night Out. And she came down there, and she'd be talking to everybody who was there who was former South family. Kathy would be doing that. And if you don't know the history of South family, then you might not understand the significance of that, because they are responsible for killing Jimmy Wilson, who was a police officer who was racist, by the way. Doesn't mean you deserve to die, but it is what it is. When you planting dope in people's cars, they don't really like you. Okay? Kathy would come and talk to everybody, and they loved her for it. Loved her for it. She's my example of community policing. And just so happens she ended up suing the chief of police. And she won, but ain't nobody talking about that neither.
Right. The court held it up. It ain't just allegations. The court held it up. So that is a powerful point. And let's stick there a little bit, because that is also why you specifically is someone who came to mind when talking about this conversation, because the larger topic that is kind of an undertone in this is this statewide attempt to lock up children at 11 and 9-year-olds, and this larger relationship between the community and the police. And you're somebody, school board member, Omaha, ED, like you said, lived experience working with trying to build coalition between the community, real community, and the police. And I mentioned on Friday, like the way that these things are going, I can't imagine how easy it is for a officer to do their job now, as far as all the scrutiny that the community is putting them under, reasonably so. But how do we move forward at, trying to build a community policing where, the community is involved, but there are also police departments and resources supporting the community, not just harassing us?
Yeah. It's funny too, because OPD is trying to recruit my son.
Really?
He's a public safety officer at Creighton. He got Officer of the Year after 2 years.
Yeah, we shouted him out when he got it. Yeah.
And I don't see him really just eager to go and make $70,000+ a year starting off. And you also remind me of when I did have that program over here. Captain Matuza I'm pointing to the police station, is right over here. Captain Matuza was a captain of Southeast Precinct. And what I did was I started having him come to every meeting I had with my kids, because I had like 20 some kids, right? And I'm thinking about Kathy over South. I'm like, we could do something like this over North. You know what I'm saying? And so I invite Captain Matuza in. At first, my kids was like, what are you doing? Like, why is he here? You know what I'm saying? But over time, relationships are a real thing, and they can be built. And over time, like, they was cool with each other. And I remember after COVID shut my program down, and I seen Captain Matuza here in scooters. I'm at the headquarters. And he told me, he said, Kimara, if I had never sat in that class, he said, I would have never known what these kids are going through. We got to find ways to just build relationship and get people to know, or like we say, we got to create our own police officers. That's what I battle with my son. I battle with him going and joining what is a negative culture. People talk to me too much for me to say it ain't. And there's plenty of police officers I love out here, but it is what it is. And I also battle with the fact that we need good police officers.
I think
communities.
I think that the part of the solution comes to me that we need to have more of a involvement in the hiring, which also includes, when a police officer gets fired for bad behavior, not getting hired back, and being a record of that and so on. Precious in the chat is saying the police officer who killed Cameron Ford should have never been hired by the sheriff's office.
At all.
This is a major. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
This is a major issue with the Nebraska law enforcement system. But let's not forget, Tony Connor is now the president of the statewide Police Officers Association. So, it always comes down to people. It always comes down to the people that are coming in, coming out. We've been doing this a while and have reported on stuff like how Chief Schmatter has fired police officers for bad behavior. They get hired back because of the police union. Now they're getting hired over at the sheriff's office after bad behavior. There's something in there. And then we talk about recruitment in the same breath. There's something in there about how community policing probably should also include community input on hirings and firings and so on as well. I don't know if
that's something to talk to it's somebody else who I love and adore. Deputy Chief Cherie Thomas, and she's the one who I believe is in charge of hiring. I believe that's part of her responsibility as a deputy chief under. I believe that's under her role of responsibility, which is the reason why she's, putting this effort. You see the billboards and different things that are coming up in community, because she's doing her best to try, to recruit good officers. So, because they owe me about my son. They're like, when your son gonna fly? We really, really need good officers. And I know that's true because that's another thing too that's happening as well, at least from what I hear. And don't shoot the messenger. You know what I'm saying? But they say like these recruits and classes that are coming out are being described to me as bottom of the barrel.
Man,
so them to me as bottom of the barrel. How can that be good for a community?
Yeah, and we and during the city council race and the mayor's race, we heard a lot about these 150 new police officers that we need. So, and we heard a little bit about some of the things the reasons why they need them and how they are not just needing police officers, but they're battling other police offices in other places for these people. There's a lot of recruiting across states. This is kind of the reason why they're recycling a lot of the bad behavior police. So we hear this all the time, but I don't think this idea of community policing is being addressed like it should be. Shelton Shar in the chat, good morning, says we need more people front of community policing the community. That's the only way we can get ahead of the system. However, our black and brown children aren't running to probably join the police. We believe the police. She says we have to find a way to start a pipeline. We continue to pull people from all over Nebraska, these rural cities who have no experience with black and brown people, and they are scared. That's something that she's saying inside of this idea of lining the police with people that are from the community more. Sounds to me like you're talking a little bit more about like how I talk about it. Like community policing to me means having policing ourselves, not necessarily being in the police force.
Actually, can I speak to that? Those two things are coming to mind because I'm actually envisioning like, what if your son was an officer? That would be the ideal situation, in my mind, because it's an instance of like, I know your mom, like, make sure you out here, don't maybe call your mama, you out here wilding, like, what I'm saying? It's a more communal relationship. You know what I mean? You're not just an other in my community.
But one thing that Greg talks to me about a lot is back in the day when they used to have the cops that got on just walked. You know what I'm saying? Just walk that came from the community too, right? Like Greg was from South Omaha. He walked around South Omaha.
Walked the beat like the old days.
Omaha. There's also some to that relationship building piece too. But as long as we hiring folks from Glenwood and no shade to Glenwood. Folks who know nothing about our culture, nothing about community. And it's not just the police department, it's everywhere. It's hiring teachers. You know what I'm saying? It's figuring out, where you want to work. It's everywhere that we are having to deal with this. It ain't just the police. It's everywhere. It's everywhere.
In the instance of the police, I do want to issue this reminder, this thought, this memory. I'm thinking back to the Malcolm X Freedom Summer, the rally at the Malcolm X Memorial Foundation, and the feeling that we had knowing that there wasn't just police, like, no, the BAA was holding it down, and the BAA with their arms standing out there openly armed, protecting the people, and the police were outside of that situation. And it felt like, okay, we got us. Y'all can stay out there. If we need your help, cool. Stay out there. If we need your help, we'll call you.
Yeah. I was just telling my dad about this last night because that's the first time I ever met Brother Qasim, and I met him. I walked up like, is this a black man full gear with an AK-47 on his back? Like, is he our security now? Like, is he part of the police department? Like, I had questions, bro, and I went up, started talking to him, and he was like, "Nah, bro. Like, this is, I'm saying we're armed. This is a black-owned security company." And in my mind, I'm like, that's what I'm talking about. I'm old enough to remember the Angels, or whatever they would call the Guardian Angels, out in New York with them burgundy berets they used to wear, and they were the you call the Guardian Angels instead of the cops to come and handle somebody or take somebody out of your house or whatever you had to do. Like, I mean, and they were protecting people on the subways and so on. So I've always had this idea from the 70s and the 80s about creating your own police force for your own neighborhoods. But now now that I'm older, I'm seeing both things. We also need because the other police force also exists. We need good people in that police force as well. But are you nervous that if, like, say your son took a job at the police force and now we're happy because we got somebody, an ally in the police force policing us, are you afraid of the blue line tainting him, though, making him feel pressured? And
I tell you, my son is the person, we have discussions, and my son tells me all the time, because he's known Kathy since he was a little kid, you know, and he's like, you know, Mom, he's like, my problem ain't with like certain police. My problem is that whenever something bad happens, he said, you never see them as a brotherhood come together and say we did wrong.
Right.
He said, and I don't want to be a part of something like that. Out of his mouth. And when he said that, I was just like,
he ain't wrong.
Ain't wrong. Like, I can't even knock him for that. You know, so I know he's considering it, because I know they really, really on him, and I know they said some things to kind of change his mind a little bit. Because if you had to ask him 2 years ago about becoming a police officer, it wouldn't have been a thought. To have been like, no, absolutely not. So I know he's kind of considering it. He's my child too, so I know he's thinking and processing. I'm also trying not to be like all up in his business about it, so he can come to the conclusion that he wants to come to, and I didn't influence him. So
it's 8 o'clock right now.
I'm not messing with my baby either, because anyway.
Yeah, I feel you. 8 o'clock right now. If you believe in the concept of time, we're now in the second hour. I don't want to call it a whole hour, but we're in the second part of First Sky Omaha. Kimara, we appreciate you coming on. We got a couple of more special guests that's coming on before you get out of here, though. Definitely want to hear your words, your last words. Yeah, tell us what you
talk about anything else. I do just want to let y'all know that as far as OPS is concerned, yeah, I'm working with them. I'm planning a series of like town halls. I'm calling them like maybe reconnecting with purpose or something, but it's going to be up to the school board representative if they want to do them or not. But the district is working with me to set up town halls. Each one will have like a theme, like maybe back to school readiness, student safety, curriculum changes, or whatever. But we'll also have like panel question and answers. I'm setting it up kind of similar to like how I saw like the mayor's town halls. Make sure the superintendent is there. Maybe have some resource tables set up as well for information. Have time for questions and answers and things like that too. So still working on that to get that rolled out. Hopefully by the fall, we can have like a schedule of them, maybe like twice a year. Also, I've been trying to advocate for a student representative on the board. Unfortunately, there is some sort of state statute that we found out about that school districts of a certain size cannot have one. I know Grand Island has a student rep on the board. I told this district that I was like standing 10 toes down on it, so we're gonna have to figure something out. The superintendent does have like an advisory board, but I think that there should be also like some leadership development and opportunities to have like these types of experiences for young people. So there's some sort of state statute. I don't know if anybody in community want to do something about that, but nothing I can do about a state statute, but I think it would be nice to have a student rep for that student voice. They couldn't be a voting member because, you know, we're elected by the people and they wouldn't be elected by the people. So that wouldn't be really fair for the people because they didn't elect them. But I still think that having their input would be really important. So, and I
got an idea for you. It just kind of came to me in this. Is there any conversation with like the schools elected? Like each school has, you know, school board, school president, student body president. Has there been any kind of conversation with getting the school body presidents and kind of dealing with them?
So the superintendent sort of advisory board that's basically what that is.
Okay.
You know, for me though, it's also about like he told me like some of the stuff they do, which is cool. You know, I'm trying to get these young people more experiences because at the end of the day, you know, people like look at me and like, you know, how are you doing all this? I got started doing this stuff when I was like 12, y'all. Like I've been doing this type of stuff for a really long time. And so having other students to have that choice, it's about, of course, their student voice, but also, you know, the lived experience of being on a board like that, the leadership development piece. And I think this is where me and the district kind of differ because You know, they come back to like, what is a district's role? You know, is it district's role education, or is it like leadership development? I think there's some leadership development in there, but also like just better policy outcomes. You know what I'm saying? Them being able to have something to say about policy, because that is a school board thing, not necessarily a district thing that would be discussed in like a superintendent advisory board. So yeah.
Let me jump in here because we got some special guests waiting in the wings. We appreciate you coming on. We'll definitely have you back to talk about that in particular, and we can spend the time on that, because I love this idea that you got, and I definitely want us to dive in and to reach out and maybe even help get some volunteers and stuff for you on this. So I appreciate your time. We want to definitely stay in vein here of the discussion, and we're going to go ahead and bring the other guests on. But thank you, and we'll have you back very soon to talk about this. This is kind of the next subject I really want to get to, because it's so tied into everything that's happening. If we don't get the babies off to the right start in the way that you're talking.
Yeah, don't nobody never want to talk about education, Paul and Buddy.
Well,
that's why we got you on. That's why we got you.
That's why we got you. But we'll bring you back. We'll talk about it soon. So right. Love you. It's so good to see you all the time. So good to hear from you. Miss you. I wish that we can. Yeah, I can't wait to come out again. The weather getting better, so you might see me outside a little bit more now. And
Chat Chimers thing.
We definitely having Chat Chimers kickback. Definitely. So you got an opportunity to win 3 times in a row on the Domino's table. Reigning champ. Reigning champ, Kimara Snipes.
Dominologist over here.
Say good.
I said dominologist over here.
I never heard that one. I like that, dominologist. That needs to be on your business card, Kimara Snipes, dominologist.
There you go.
All right.
You have a good one. Peace. All right, there you go. Love speaking to her, and because we have our special guests waiting in the wings, we're gonna go ahead and bring them on now, ladies and gentlemen. We got brother Qasim in the house, and we got brother Sherman Wells in the house as well.
Hey, the brothers.
Good morning, brothers.
What's up?
How y'all feeling this morning?
Ooh, feeling good.
That's what's up, man. Brother Qasim in the house. So I take it. Yeah. Okay, cool. I just got your text. Like, he can't. Got it. All right, you in the house. How you doing over there, brother Wells? You looking like you mad this morning already. What's happening? Early, yeah. I feel you. I'm tired too. Feel you on that.
Well, we had our first Sunday yesterday, so
yeah. How'd it go?
Speaking of the babies,
it was good.
Good. How many people showed up?
It was a rotation between about 70 or 80 people. You know,
man,
that's great to hear, bro.
Mm-hmm.
So what kind of activities you have for the folks?
Yesterday was just orientation, so we let people in the building, talk to people, get to know them. Yeah,
that's what's up.
Man. Even they like, I don't want to gloss over that. Like it's one thing to just like, okay, we want to do something for the community, and we're going to plan it, and we're going to throw it, and just have people show up, and that be that. But that small move shows the intention. Like, nah, we're going to get to know these people first before we try to interact with them. That's not a small thing.
I wish the police would do that. Let's jump in, fellas. Everybody's seen the videos. Everybody's been talking about it everywhere. Lots of comments everywhere. Then brother Qasim called, and I got like a whole bunch more of the story for those of us that didn't make it. Just the scene of the room, everybody that piled into the room, standing around the back walls. Didn't really realize that based on the videos that we saw. So first and foremost, you guys want to jump in and let us know what happened. We start with you, brother Qasim. Give us a rundown of the scene from your perspective.
It was a lot of us, man. Anywhere between 60 and 70, somewhere in those numbers. And our mission on that particular day was to go and do what we do, and we demand, Pan-Africanists. We pay very close attention to the history, and because we pay very close attention to the history, we understand the outcome before it takes place in regard to how we deal with these people, and even people, in my opinion, that look like us, who choose to coerce or serial collaborators is what I like to call them. Those that think we're safe, and we just don't move that way, man. And we went in and we demanded, and so far, we're getting what we want. It's unfortunate that it have to go the way that it's going, and that the young brother had to lose his life. But just from the landscape, from the hindsight of things, man, it's we just have to do things a certain way going forward. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, man. Brother Wells, from your perspective, was what? Tell us about the meeting. Tell us about the reason why it got so heated. What's your thoughts?
Well, first we didn't go in there to talk or collaborate. So that's the first thing. A lot of people, even like you said this morning, I look mad already. That's my natural standing face. What people don't know about me is I'm 100% from the gutter. Like, my life started off very, very tough. So I had to develop a tough skin in order to even get where I'm at right now. And to be able to love myself, that didn't start until I was about 20, because there was no love in my life up until that point, 21. So it's not to blame my past or nothing, but what I'm saying is, by the time that comes, you develop a multiple personalities where you need to be able to switch in and out. And so that day we knew we had to go in there, not on no friendly stuff, not on no let's talk it out and collaborate. We went in there 100% to be disruptive. And so when I don't know, like, you a performer, Paul, so sometimes when you get on stage and you have to switch from being regular Paul, family Paul, son Paul, to a performer Paul. So
Funkdopolis on them.
Yeah. And so I had to go in there and be able to switch into something that people don't see as often, because I don't need it as often, but there are times that it's needed. And I've done it at city council. I've done it in private meetings. I've done it to Don Bacon, to a lot of people, but it's just really never been recorded like that and glorified like that. So that day we 100% went in there to be disruptive, and that's what we did.
Good to know. Somebody on the chat last show mentioned it looked like it was about to break out into a fight. Brother Qasim came on in the chat and said, "No, let's not. Or actually, it was you, brother Wells, came on and said, "Listen, let's get our language right about this. There was a specific intent for going to that meeting. It wasn't to go there to attack anybody. It was go to disrupt." I'm glad that this. I'm understanding now the disruption was the intent, which is something that I think is getting left out of the story. Yeah.
The disruption was the intent. We talked about it beforehand. We met up before, like right before, and talked about it again. And what I do understand is, and I want to set this part clear because I've gotten a lot of feedback, especially from women, right? There's things that men do that women won't understand. It's just like things about women that they do that we don't understand, like 15 purses for what, and the way they handle things is different from the way we handle things. And so that's why normally when you see a girl fight, it might be some hair pulled, shirts ripped, but a man fight, somebody might die. Okay. We are different. So to try to make us explain to you, for you to understand why and what we did, I'm done explaining it. Like, unless you want to call me personally or meet up with me personally, and I can sit down and talk to you. But it was so many people, and women mainly, trying to get me to explain to them why we did what we did. Now, brother Qasim, on the other hand, see, what they don't know is that brother's a born warrior. That's not something he pretends to be. That is exactly who he is. And so you ain't gonna get the same explanation from him that you might get from me. Okay. And he may just even block you or ignore you or not say nothing, because that's just the way he do things. And so you can't expect him to be any other way than what his soul was created to be, which is a warrior. He's a general. He's a builder of men. And he don't get into explaining or trying to make you have your, with the feelings of why we did what we did. We did exactly what we planned to do. It was 100% strategic. And the mode that we was in is like they say, put your shoes in sports mode, them little Crocs. We went into the disruptive mode.
Man, hey, we got brother Qasim here. Before we jump into anything else, I want to get from your perspective as a warrior, as this person who was there standing on business. We saw a few things in the video. We saw people up in people's face, and then we saw people very, very stoic, standing in back, quiet. tell me about the masculine energy brought to the room and why it was needed, and from your perspective, how you handled it and what you think about it.
So Sherman is correct. That's pretty much how I move. I'm not going to waste time explaining to you, especially as a woman, when I know that the society has done everything that it could possibly do to us to dismantle the warrior spirit, to dismantle the masculinity, and because you all are used to dealing with passive aggressive men in these settings in which and where we identify those of us who are masculine men that are warriors, that we identify as warfare, because that is, like I said, that is what history have taught us. Okay. So the sisters have even been beat into, I don't know why that did that. The sisters have even been beat into this mode in which and where, unfortunately, in our community, they run things. You know, they're at the front of everything, and it shouldn't be that way. Alhamdulillah, there's a lot of sisters that were there that stood on business, that stand on business, have and continue to stand on business. But then us as men, we have a role and an obligation. I had stated earlier on that you can't go into any community, white, Mexican, or Chinese, in which where they don't have male protectors. We've lost that. Mm-hmm. Okay. We're not sitting and we're not coddling the police today. We're not going to coddle the police, Brother Willie. We're not doing that. Okay, because everybody's on somebody's payroll and all that. That's why we disassociate ourselves from those types of functions. Okay, so that when it's time to march, we can march. We don't have anything holding us back. You know, so as far as the masculine spirit, the warrior spirit, the warrior energy, for me, when my mind is made up, it's made up. And he's right. I stayed blocking and deleting sensitive, high function, sensitive sisters all that I thought I wouldn't have had to, but I'm not going to waste my time. You know, maybe if we catch each other, we can discuss it. You don't like it, I don't care. We're at war. Our situation. I heard Kimara say that her son wanted to be, or that the police department reached out to him. He should do that. I'm encouraging all 50, 60 of my boys so that we can go on ahead and begin the push out process. Because like I stated not that long ago, you don't have black police forces in rural and suburban Nebraska. And because we've become so blind to the facts, and because we've been so conditioned, we don't look at it like that and say, hey, blacks don't get to go to white meetings and discuss white problems in white communities. And we don't see these things. So you have those of us that are trained, that understand warfare, that have studied our way. I have 2 businesses. We've bought land. We have Black Youth Programming, and I ain't never stepped a foot in one of those meetings. Okay. And in my mind, it's just my opinion. I'm standing on it. It's a catastrophe, and it's an embarrassment to sit amongst your oppressor and beg for solutions and beg for answers and all that. That's an embarrassment to someone of my caliber. I'm not going to apologize for that.
Man. Speaking on a couple of things, and then I want to direct the conversation in a different way. But I do want to address the manhood situation, and it's kind of surprising to hear when that you two brothers are getting questioned by sisters, by women, because I would expect to kind of hear more what a Sister Kimara had to say, as far as like, okay, I can relax now. The men are here, you know, like, okay, the men are doing what they're supposed to be doing. I don't have to do it. You know, I can get in my quote unquote soft girl era, if you will, you know, as they say on the internet. But I do want to give, just as you're talking, I'm just thinking of the historical context. I went to a university that had a museum on campus, and in that museum was a buck breaking bed. And I was taught about the history of, so I just want to hammer it home for those listening, the intent and the extent to which Black masculinity has been thwarted, attacked, all out killed in America. And we don't even have to go all the way back to buck breaking in slavery. We've also had conversations just in my mother's experience of social workers coming into the home, making sure that there was not a man in the home so that the family can get the services that they desperately needed to simply survive. There was intent behind that. So, and I understand actually why the sisters might be responding the way they are, because they know that anytime a brother did stand up, RG, he was murdered, he was neutered. Yes. So I feel like the response that these sisters are having inherently, whether they understand it or not, they know that the danger that you could be in doing what you're doing, but it's needed. I say all that to say it's needed. That was done because it was a means to an end to dismantle the family, and without the man being the man in a way that you may or may not understand, but men who are men get it. And without that, we're not going to get to where we're trying to get. So I say that first. With that said, hopefully we can get Brother Qasim back. So I would like for him to answer this question as well. But I know, Brother Sherman, you have been with the family, and I want to talk about that, because that you aren't just angry black men for no reason. You aren't just standing up protecting for no reason. You are men who are protecting something out of a place of love. A family is under attack. Yeah. Can you speak to what the family has been dealing with, the reality of the family, and what led up to y'all even going to the meeting, dealing with the police in this situation?
Yeah, and again, I just want to say to your point about the history. You got to think too, for Omaha history, it ain't been that long ago, right? The last time this community has stood up for any kind of police shooting in any high capacity was Vivian Strong, 69. Right. So before that, there were multiple riots. Anytime people in this community was bothered by racism or any kind of crazy act. Once Vivian was killed and that officer was found not guilty and was allowed to return to the community where he did that at for 2 years, it broke the spirit and the warrior mentality of this community. Because in their mind, why would I stand up for anything else if a 14-year-old girl unarmed running was shot in the back of the head and still found not guilty? How do we fight after that? Okay. So that, and then so again, the anger was definitely intentional, because that's the kind of energy we had to bring. And like you said, with the families, the very first day we went there, you know, a lot of them don't speak English, but the cry is still the same, no matter what language it's in. And when you hear the mother cry, you hear the brothers and sisters cry and scream out in this different language. The feeling, no matter what the language is, I still felt it and I understood the pain. And then you absorb that, and that's where you get your energy from to go out and be the warrior for this family. When I got the call, it was, I don't know what to do. We don't know what to do. The young lady who we've been communicating with, I've been knowing her for a few years. She's been on my page. We've had multiple interactions. She's a family member. And she said, I called you. I called Qasim because we don't know what to do. We need some help. Okay. So when we go over there and then we see the way they dismantled their home, the disrespect, the lies already, it's stuff that we're used to seeing because we know the game. I put a video up that they have a playbook that they use every single time when they kill a black person. And we walk into the playbook at the beginning, already starting with this family. And it's completely disrespectful. So I am not going to allow, once I'm brought into it, because I don't go to families and say, oh, hey, I'm Sherman, I can help you. No, I wait until they reach out to me, because I don't want to seem like I'm clout chasing or trying to get some attention off of nobody. Once I'm called, though, I'm 100% in. And like I said, the cry from that mother, those brothers, those sisters, his family, even though it was in a different language, feeling of hearing a mother scream for her baby, it don't change, bro.
brother Sherman, I'm gonna put a exclamation point on your point here by playing this short video. Stay tuned, y'all. I want you all to hear this real quick.
I want to know why they do that. I need a body camera. I want to make sure anything happen.
Janidi Ibrahim's mother-in-law, Hamila Mohammed, asking how this could happen, as she's now left to help take care of his young daughter.
That is too much to me. How my mind is going.
And just a little piece of that, just because I want people to feel that emotion, man. Like what you experienced, we've experienced. Shout out to Waverly Monroe over Channel 7 for pushing that out. For us to be able to, those that didn't meet with the family can hear what the mother had to feel and had to say and had to we understand the outburst, the emotion. We understand this anger. We understand this. I am violently upset and mad that this young brother got shot and killed this way, and that this family's gotten treated this way. I don't know if a lot of people have been paying attention to how the family has been treated after that. There's been some video that people put on Friends of First Sky Omaha where the cousins got pulled over by the police by three cars. You just mentioned about how they tore the house up. They acted like they had a warrant and came in looking for stuff and tore the house up. Not to mention, we know that this family is Muslim and they needed the body in 3 days, and they did not even acknowledge any of that. We can go on and on about the reasons why we are so upset right now. Where are we at now? What's next? Brother Qasim, let me throw you in there to ask you that question. Where is from a battle perspective? You said we are at war right now. From this perspective, where are we at in this battle? What is it that other people outside of you, your circle, can do? What other efforts are there out there as far as the family getting help, the help that they need? How can people rally? Tell us where we're at.
And actually, can I add to that really quickly? Because you mentioned earlier that there were specific demands that were being responded to, and we do have news from Channel 7 that the sheriff's office did say that they will, after protests over the weekend, after what happened last Wednesday, that they will share the video with the family this week. So that is something that is happening this week. And also, I know that Sherman, you posted about it to fund the sheriff's budget meeting as well. So yes, with those things in mind, can you speak to the next step?
So we have, of course, you just posted, we have a series of aggressive counterattacks, and the first demand was the body cam. And so we seem to be having our way in that area, but we still don't fully trust it because we know how you can doctor things up and do this and the third. The sheriff wasn't supposed to have been down here. He was alone, unmarked. I mean, there's so many things that went into that, but back to the battle perspective, majority of that we'll have off of here. Okay. But the first thing that we got to do and that we plan to do, that we are working on, is making sure that we put a system in place to actually police the police. Okay. From a city mass level, wide level, you see what I'm saying, in regard to keep an eye on them and really discouraging them from even want to be rural and suburban raised white boys and come down here and terrorize our community, because that's what it is. We are also, there was a video that was floating around, I don't know if you all seen it or not, with the pullover situation with the Omaha Police Department. See, Sheriff Hansen was a cop at one point, gang unit and all that. So those are his friends. He's able to get on the phone and call his friends and still have influence in that area as well. Those were his friends that done that. So we're in the process of going down and filing a complaint there, to going ahead and get a lawsuit against them there. You see what I'm saying? So right now, those are some of the things that's happening. Like I said, a lot of what I would discuss, this right now, right here, won't be the time for that.
Understood.
But just know that we're moving and we preparing, and that making sure that Those camera phones are ready at all time and stuff like that, man. They plan, because you guys got to look at this thing. So when we're dealing with warfare, right, we have to look at this thing from the lens of the enemy. The sheriff who done this is Sheriff Hanson's best, according to him, his best trained officer. This is what he said in that meeting. Okay. They're friends. Their wives probably know each other. Their children probably go to school with each other. Okay. Families associate with each other. They do the best that they can. They pillow talk with their wives and pillow talk with each other about how they're going to do us, daily. They talk bad about it. I mean, these are friends. So of course, Aaron Hanson is going to do everything that he can to protect his friend. He loves him like a brother. So this is a brother. So we have to look at this thing, because God willing, we get what we want in regards to conviction or whatever the case may be. Then there's going to come another wave of attacks, because you have to understand now, the killer of Cameron Ford, he gave a job at the courthouse as a sheriff. Okay. And then you have to deal with the cop that killed Phipps. And from my understanding, he's a detective now. So this was my beef with Willie in the whole thing. When you want to talk about we can do this together and all this, that, and the third. No, we're not. No, we're not. Okay, we're going to hold you accountable, and we're going to hold them accountable together. Because I sent you something, Paul, to your inbox, right? Thank you, Brother Sherman. And it's him going on national news, lying with Chief Schmatter about this police, community police relationship that we had. Okay, Willie, I don't even think you live in North Omaha. Schmatter, I know you don't live in North Omaha. How are you speaking for us? What are you talking about? Okay, we don't have good relations with the police. We never have, and actually, it's gotten worse.
I'm glad you mentioned that. I kind of spoke about the two opposing narratives earlier in the show, and this narrative that the Omaha Police Department is this model department, and the 360 model is this perfect model. Well, not necessarily perfect, but it's this model that has the solutions and answers and being replicated. But then there's the real life lived experience, to where I mentioned on the show, I still have PTSD of driving down the street, just going to see a friend or a young lady, and as soon as I see the police see me, they're doing a U-turn. Just the real lived experience. And I'm kind of curious, do you brothers know if, like, you mentioned the Phipps situation, and there was comment about, Phipps being familiar with the officer, and there's familiarity. You talked about the relationship that the police have with each other, but I don't think people really understand the relationship that the police has with these aren't just perps that these cops know these people, and these people, these young men in the community know these cops very well. Can you kind of speak to that interaction? And do you know if there was a similar situation with Brother Janidi, as far as, did he have any interactions before with the sheriff's office, and were they actually looking for him specifically?
I can't speak to that necessarily. From my understanding, he didn't have a criminal record.
He did. But it wasn't with the sheriff's office, and he actually had been out of that trouble for a while.
Juvenile?
Yeah. And that clip you showed was his mother-in-law, so that's his wife's mom, and she is responsible now for taking in the wife and the baby, and there's 8 other children over there, okay? Wow. So we had to, Pastor Williams was the first one. He did go over there and take some extra diapers and some food over there to that family. And that was asked in that 360 meeting from the brother, who's going to step forward now and help take care of my brother's baby, because his sister is the one who got to deal with that, not having a dad there. And her birthday is June 15th. If anybody want to do something for the baby, I'll put the mom's Cash App on my page today. But and then also I wanted to say that you got to remember that Hanson went to North High School, and he was in a black school. Most of the time he was bullied. becoming a sheriff or a cop was just for him to get his get back. And he stayed on the gang unit that whole time, bullying the community behind that badge. Okay. So I need y'all to understand his mentality of what he think of us and how much he despises the black male energy. And just because y'all seen it on tape today, Wednesday, of how I spoke to him or Willie, we've had private conversations where I had to tell them both the exact same thing because Hanson and the Omaha Police Officer Association used the image of my cousins for a political statement against Marianne Borgeson.
Oh, man,
and we had to have that meeting. And when we had that meeting, we in there talking, and I'm checking them, telling them don't do that again and how disrespectful it is for the community. And Willie said, let's see now if we can work together. And I had to tell him then the exact same thing, STFU, because guess what? This ain't the meeting for that. And Hanson had these papers he wanted to pass out to show me his intent on why he used it. And I told him, keep those papers and don't come in here with your explanations because I don't want to hear it. I'm telling you now, if you use my cousin's image again, then there'll be a problem between us as men. I don't care about you being the sheriff. And he sat back in that chair and folded his arms, and it reminded me of the Hanson from North Omaha because he couldn't say nothing or do nothing from North High School. He knew at that moment you're in the room with a man, and I'm telling you to stop doing what you're doing. Okay, so I know it's like surprising to people, but it's just this is how we've been talking and treating them, and the way you come in is the way you go out. So that's why the respect is like that, you know.
So wait, you remember Hanson growing up? Like you?
No. I just know he went to North.
Yeah. You mentioned something. This is the reason why we wanted to have you guys on too, because since these videos are floating around and going viral, and I also want to have Brother Shabazz on later on this week too to have him speak. Because of these videos going viral, they don't understand that there's been all kinds of other conversations happening in other rooms at other times, and that there's been a build up to all these things. So I definitely wanted to have you guys on to speak to that. To the build up to why we're at where we're at. Looks extreme to a lot of people who don't know any backstory.
It do look extreme, and we've had the conversation with Willie multiple times, and right after that, in that meeting about my cousin, he proposed that if they would apologize publicly for using the image, then maybe we could come together and work together. And they all agreed to apologize publicly, but then they didn't. And I said, Willie, this is how you know they don't respect you, bro. They said what they needed to say to get out of that room from in front of me, Tony Connors and Hanson. But once we left that room, nah, they didn't apologize. And then that's when I told him the first time, stop trying to make us work together before there's accountability. And in that 360 meeting, that's what started the first thing. When Qasim said, no, I don't agree, because Willie like, oh, we're going to talk about this, and then we're going to talk about a solution to make it to where we can come together and work. Agreed. And Qasim said, no, we don't agree, because here you are trying again to be the buffer and be in between the accountability and already saying, let's work together. And so the moment before, everybody's just showing that clip of me telling him that in his face. The moment before, one of the family members wanted to speak, and he started saying, no, they can't talk. What we're going to do is have this person answer a question. We'll let Hanson continue talking, and then we're going to close it out. And that's when I said what I said.
Because the beginning, you're yelling. You were saying, we don't care about your order around here.
Because that's what he was trying to do. Bring not the order of the room, but he's trying to say who's going to talk next, and basically shutting that family member out who wanted to say or ask Hanson a question. And so even like with the body, so we were able to get it honored and got that body back within 3 days. But before that, they wasn't doing it. We had to physically call the coroner's office, call him over and over, and put a lot of pressure on them to make them get that body in them 3 days.
Wow.
They wasn't going to do that. We had yeah. But at the same time, Qasim explained it to me, and then we just went in super hard on the coroner's office, like flooded him with calls, and made sure, and him, the coroners, the lawyer, everybody, we had everybody calling that office to get that body in them 3 days. So again, had we not stepped in, they were just already playing with the family.
Let me jump in real quick. First of all, it's 8:39. If you believe in the concept of time, we're here with Brother Qasim and Brother Sherman Wells. We're speaking on some of the things, the stuff behind the scenes that's been going on between these community leaders and law enforcement and so on. And I want to jump in because I know you brothers are both intelligent enough to know that there's lanes everywhere. That we've talked extensively about how people have their lanes, organizations have their lanes. There's ways that we can put lanes together. We talked extensively about how even though we don't really trust in politicians and things like that so much, them being in seats is a lane, is something that is, if grouped together with other things, can help. You guys know that we understand you guys to be especially in this day and age closest to the Black Panther Party in the way that you are. We're all about Black nationalism. We're all about doing for self, taking care of self, doing the things that we got to do, and it's definitely something that is very solid in my mind about why you guys have to take the stance that you take and why you exist, and the fact that's going to clash with people who are doing things that are more collaborative, like Willie Barney, like the Empowerment Network. What would you like to see? And I'll start with Brother Qasim on this. What would you like to see if Willie Barney and the Empowerment Network was doing what you would think they should do in their lane, in the way that they are trying to collaborate and make some things happen? What would you like to see them do? We talk about the criticisms of them all the time, but if they were doing the things that you think they should be doing, what does that look like to you?
They need to study Garveyism. That's the only thing they can do for me. And hang a flag, hang a red, black, and green flag in a room and become culturally competent. Okay, because when you have cultural competence, you don't sell out. When you understand, say that again. Go ahead.
You feel like they selling out by working with the police?
Yeah, you sell it because in my mind there's a way to do everything. But I sit there and I watched them operate for the first time, and I understood. And see, so a lot of them guys are in each other's pockets, and they scratch each other's back when it comes to that money. You understand what I'm saying? So I like to refer to the scripture all the time when Yeshua and the Shaitan went up on the mountaintop. And Shaitan told him, I give you all this, and Yeshua said, get thee behind me. You see what I'm saying? I would not bow before thee. You see what I'm saying? So cultural competence is big. We're talking about Pan-Africanism. We're talking about Black nationalism. I'm a Muslim, a study Muslim, so I know better. You see what I'm saying? So the thing is that's the only thing that they can do for me. That would satisfy me enough to the point in which and where I could say, okay, there's not enough for me. There's not enough cultural competence. I'm just gonna say, I'm gonna leave that right there.
So they would move more like you and the BAA move if they were doing what you would want them to do. Brother, yeah. Well, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say that and then cut you off. Go ahead.
We ain't. No one's perfect. You see what I'm saying? But there's certain things that we don't do. There's certain things I know Sherman's not gonna do. There's certain things that I know Shabazz not gonna do. You see what I'm saying? There's certain things that we just not gonna do. You know what I mean? So that comes with having a cultural competence, and so the reason we here right now is because we lack that. Even with some of the sisters, and I want to take the time to give a special shout out to Precious, McKesson, my cousin, Ashley Spivey, even Michelle Marino. She's there every step of the way. Penny Oliver, Kimara Snipes, Sister Stissy Jean that's in there. These are frontline sisters that's been there, supportive and in action. And doing what they're supposed to do, instead of trying to go against the grain in regard to, okay, they see what it is and they know what time it is type of deal, so you'll have opposition. It's not opposition. We don't fold under opposition, so earlier you mentioned the situation, or I think it was Sherman that said something, or it might have been you, about people feeling like it's extreme. Well, hell, our situation is extreme. They called Jesus extreme. They called Malcolm extreme. Everybody that y'all say y'all love, they considered extreme. Everybody y'all say y'all worship and pray to, they considered extreme. Study your books, and you'll end up right where we at right now, fighting this thing on the front line.
There you go.
Brother Wells, your any strategy in if an organization like Empowerment Network or organizations that work more collaboratively with police, but do you see any strategy in that at all? Is there any merit to an organization who can bring together community members and law enforcement and try to get some work done? If what kind of work can they get done by doing that? Tell me if you see any strategy in it at all.
Well, I'll say this, that I have no personal issue with Brother Barney. I love Willie Barney like a brother. Brothers fight. What brothers you know that don't fight and argue? Okay. If he called me today and said something was going on with him or his family, I would be there for that. Okay. But what I will say is that the Empowerment Network, I've been to a couple of those meetings just to pop in and see who's there. And every week the police come in and say what the community did, what the shootings and all. But do they ever come in and say, oh yeah, and by the way, we harassed this Black family. By the way, we had somebody file another police complaint against us. Oh,
we made a mistake.
Yeah, we snatched out this young family, a young boy out of his car and realized he didn't have nothing. So if they want to collaborate with the police, the collaboration should be about accountability, not just coming in here talking about what the community has done and what they did to deter shootings and all this stuff. What about what you have done? Is there any accountability for that? And so how can you, and this is so crazy because if you think about the housing authority issue, just to give y'all perspective, in the middle of us going through this housing authority issue, Willie had an event and he had the housing authority as one of the sponsors. And I called Willie and I said, why would you have them as a sponsor when the whole community is up in arms about the treatment and the conditions of the towers? Why would you do that? You're putting yourself on the other side of the community. So before somebody say we attacked him or we're causing division, the division is caused when you put yourself on the side with people who has already proven to us that they don't love the community. We love our community. So I'm always going to stand on the side of the love for the community. When you do things like that, you're causing a division, not us. Okay. So, and I've explained that. So when you sit in that room every Wednesday talking about the police and y'all coddle and everybody's so happy, but you're not talking about the calls that I get. I don't know about Qasim, but I get calls about people getting pulled over, harassed by the police, guns drawn on babies, coming in people's houses and not having no respect for the families, talking to the women crazy, all that. But you're not holding them accountable. That's where the disconnect and the problem is happening. Okay, and I have a video that I have from 5 years ago at an Empowerment Network meeting where me, Rob Wagner, Joe Bina, and a couple other people went into an empowerment meeting because they were debriefing about Omaha Day. And the community was there to say that the police was being real disrespectful to everybody, especially the women. Don't you know, in that meeting, a Black woman jumped up to attack Joe Bina and say, you can't tell the police what to do, this, and this, and that. It's the same thing, okay? 5 years ago, you got people jumping up to defend the police because the community wants to hold them accountable. And nobody was in the room to tell them to STFU. So it was just like, I was there, but I was there just recording, and it was just a different time in the moment right then. You know what I mean? We didn't have the numbers. And I know Roscoe is in the
Sherman, don't do it. Sherman, don't do it. I'm sitting here laughing at Jahi Shabazz, and I've been warned to not read the comments. So I'm gonna take the comments off. Some of y'all about to piss me off. About to piss me off, man. And the thing about me, when I see you, we're gonna deal with it. I'm not gonna sit here and play these games today, man.
No, and I wasn't
if you're a coon, if you want to coon with the other coons, then be a coon with the other coons, man. This thing is too high off the rocker right now. I'm not gonna sit here. I mean, come on, man. Go ahead. I'm sorry, fellas.
No, it's fine. But I'm saying that there was a time when Sundiata disrupted.
Think of the weak shit, man.
Yeah, Sundiata disrupted a meeting with the chief, and brother Roscoe got in Sundiata's face to say something about how he was talking about the chief. So even though it's spread apart time, we still have people that want to block the community from holding the police accountable because we're on the ground and we see the interaction between the police and the community. And if you don't live 100% in North Omaha to get those calls, to hear this stuff going on, then you wouldn't feel comfortable sitting in the room with the police, because we're the ones getting those calls. I had to watch a video the other week with a baby having an AR-15 pointed in her face, screaming and begging for them to move that gun out of her face, and they didn't know what was going on, and the house had got swatted by the police, and it was something else going on. But the way the police approached them babies, and it's babies still putting them guns in their face, I'll never be comfortable with that. So the Empowerment Network and anybody who work with them, they can do what they want. I don't want to control what they do. But I'm just saying, when it comes to police accountability, if we have to go there because that's where the police feel safe, you're not going to feel safe. But I've been to the police department by myself to talk to them about accountability, even with Levi Blake. And I was by myself. And even Mr. Blake's son was like, hey, man, you cool? I said, listen, if something go wrong, call my wife, get my bond money. But I went down there on 100% anger about why you won't show us the videos of Mr. Blake and why y'all not helping this family look for him. And I was by myself in the police department and told him, if you don't like how I'm acting, arrest me, because I'm not leaving until I get that video of this this brother leaving, or I want to get all the information that y'all have on why he hasn't been found. Okay, so it don't matter. It's not just the Empowerment Network, bro.
No, I hear you. We're getting close to the end here, and I'm glad you said what you said, because I want to stick on that. I think what we all are after, those of us that are working with Empowerment Network or trying to, those of us that aren't working with it have a completely opposite view. That we all hopefully can agree on the fact that what we need is some accountability for all involved. This accountability piece is the sticking point here on this.
That's it. And I don't care what they do, because I've never, I don't try to control. We can't dictate what nobody do. We not God. Mm-hmm. We're only humans. People do what they want to do. So let them do what they do. I never knock it. Do what you do. But I'm just saying, police accountability for me is more important than a collaboration. And when we're talking about for the community, 100% all my actions is going to be for the people at any time, and I don't care what entity it is.
Yep, feel that. Yeah, Brother Wallace, appreciate you on the chat. Appreciate the feelings that are behind everything, and everybody feeling like they're feeling. I would definitely agree. Encourage at this point. It is a take it outside type of thing on this show. We say take it outside, meaning call each other directly and handle that, and let's not battle in the chat. I don't want to. We're trying to get you some answers here on this, but not to stop you from saying what you want to say. Appreciate you jumping in, but I do want to say, sounds like there's some things that need to be discussed between y'all brothers outside in a different setting.
Between
who? You, Brother Wallace.
No, we don't have nothing. Listen, we don't have nothing to talk about. We didn't already had these conversations. I get tired of people trying to come to the defense. I keep telling them, listen, this is the thing. Some of us are built different. Okay? Some of us are built different. And the only time that I showed up was going to be the last time I show up, unless something else pop off. We don't owe the Empowerment Network nothing. I don't owe Willie nothing. Okay? We talking about the trauma, in my opinion, and Willie texted me last night. We're going to deal with some things, but until we do, we're going to have some pressure. You know what I'm saying? I don't owe nobody no explanation about any of this when we the ones on the front line dealing with this. It's a very emotional and sad time right now. You see what I'm saying? And it continues to happen. I don't want to hear you on here trying to go, man, listen, I'm done with it.
Yeah.
Agree. Got you.
I'm done with it.
Got you. Not trying to push you in any conversation you want to be in. That's not what I'm saying at all. I was making a comment on what's being said in the chat and how let's not battle in the chat. Let's talk offline.
Like they got amnesia, bro. I don't listen. I don't play the amnesia games. I don't have to come on here. You see what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, I don't do it. And so all the stuff he's saying, we done talked about. I'm not gonna keep talking to you about cooning. I'm not gonna do that.
Okay.
Yeah. And just to clear, I know you say don't read it, but it was not, my cousin didn't come in that meeting to say nothing to you, brother, because he don't know you like that. He actually was speaking on the facts and speaking on the truths of the police department and the statistics. And I got that video on my YouTube. If anybody want to go watch it and see, When Sundiata came in there, he didn't know you like that to be speaking on you. The disrespect was towards the chief, and that's how.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I ain't seen that video.
Yeah, I'll show it. I'll
yeah, man, I'm not don't man, because it's just coming off as real ruckus to me. You see what I'm saying? Let us do what we do. Let us do what we do. Don't tell us we need to be somewhere, and we don't see what you see, because we don't care to, because the beef go beyond you.
Right.
You was locked up. Since you've been locked up, we've been beefing on this type of time right here. You see what I'm saying? In regard to it's the same thing with our situation and bondage. There were always those that sold us off, that collaborated and coerced with the enemy to put us in this position. In every race, they have them. Okay. And I'm telling you that until I get some clarity and some understanding, which ain't gonna come from you, Roscoe. It's not gonna come from you. Okay. We're gonna have a series of sit downs with Brother Willie, and we're gonna deal with it like men. But I don't right now, bro. I don't care to hear all that. I'm telling you, I don't care.
Yeah, and that's why I'm jumping in real quick on this, because I'm giving that right now. The right now I'm speaking of is if there needs to be any more said in the chat or comments to the chat, take it outside, because we got 6 minutes left, 5 minutes left in the show. And we want to get back to the point.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
That video in there and Friends of First Guy for y'all to check out. So that way you can see for yourself. And like you said, we did talk to Willie right after that meeting, and we decided that we're gonna sit down with Willie and talk again, because there's no reason for us to go at each other when it's the frustration is about the police.
That part.
At the end of the day of that meeting, we told Willie the only reason why you caught any of those strays was because, again, you were in the way of him being held accountable, and you was trying to shut the family down and let him keep talking. When he was, if y'all watch the full videos, you will see that he was just saying a bunch of nothing and wasn't giving no answers. So,
actually, I saw that you shared, actually, after all the clips of, y'all yelling, you actually did share clips of what Sheriff Aaron Hansen was, or at least trying to say.
And we was letting him talk, right?
Right. You was. And I actually give it to Sheriff Aaron Hansen as far as like him just standing there and listening, and I don't know how much he was taking it in, but he stood there and took it. You know what I mean? He didn't walk out the room too. Right, they didn't walk out the room, didn't storm out. Regardless, they stood there and took it. But I will say that one thing I do agree with, to the point of the conversation that Brother Roscoe is saying in the chat. He says Willie is in the position to challenge law enforcement, and he needs to. That's the conversation there. And to Kimara's point, if Willie isn't the person to be an upstander, as she said, then we do need somebody at that platform to be an upstander, because there needs to be without accountability, there is no reconciliation.
I mean,
I want to thank Kimara. I really want to thank Kimara, man. I really do, because Kimara got that eye, and Kimara's not afraid to say it, even though she has to go and face these people. Thank you, Kimara, for the accountability. Thank you for saying all of the stuff that you said. I really appreciate you being a stand-up sister in the community. I wish more of our men would do the same thing. Just because you're in the room don't mean you're not going to speak your piece and tell your truths. Thank you for that. Thank you.
Appreciate that. In the last 3 minutes that we got in the show, just want to kind of get our bearings, find out where we're at next, what's next moves. If anybody wants to get involved in helping and stand up behind any of this stuff, any of these efforts you guys are doing, like this effort that I'm seeing right here coming up, the defund half of the sheriff's budget effort, we need your voice in the room. Douglas County Sheriff's budget will be discussed June 10th, 9 o'clock at the Legislative Chambers in 1819 Farnham Street. I'm sure this is a call to action for people to come out to this and be a part of this as well. Is that correct?
Yeah, and really everybody won't be able to talk, but just the show of the presence of the people, for the people that is going to talk, that's the most important part, just showing that, it's only a few of us speaking, but we all in agreement, right? And again, like I said, we're not here to say what nobody do. Willie created his empowerment network, and that's his stuff. Let him have that. And anybody who want to work with them, that's their stuff. Let them have that. We're going to do what we do, but it seems to be the issue of how we do things, and we can respect how they do things. Like Qasim said, he'd never been to one. So respect them and let them do what they do, but we're going to do what we do, but don't get upset because of the way we do things and then expect us to say, okay, the way you doing things is cool. But I'm just not a believer in trying to control another person. So, we always got to start with the base, right? And what's the base? Love, self-love, love for the people, love for yourself, love for everything. And then after that, you will have disagreements. And this is all temporary living we doing right now. 50, 100 years from now, don't want nobody know us unless we create a legacy now while we're living that people going to remember. So stay on the love part and the legacy building part, because that is what's going to be important for your children, people after that, to understand what my pawpaw did, my third pawpaw Qasim did 100 years ago, or what Willie did 100 years ago. And right now, this is our moment in time to shape that future. That's all I'm looking at.
I want to leave it there because you said the word that is the thing for us. It's all about the love. It's about the love supreme. And that's really what this is. It all stems for the reason why we get mad in the first place is because how much love we got for the people that are getting cut down by law enforcement and everything else that's going on. Also, I appreciate what you said earlier about some of the people that don't understand. It's like brothers fighting. It's like brothers that fight. We got a lot of people in the show today. There's a lot of what we call monitoring spirits, people that are watching, and the adversaries that are in here looking and watching and trying to see what's going on here. And a lot of times it's a good thing to kind of remind everybody that's watching to understand first of all, where we stand, what we're doing. And then second of all, to understand that everything that we're doing is coming from this place of love. Even the warriors, man, the warriors, you can ask Brother Qasim, the main warrior right here. The motivation behind being a warrior is taking care of your people in a big, big way. I want everybody to understand that. Brother Qasim, I'm gonna let you have the last word before we get out of here. What you thinking? What you feeling?
Man, I just want to do the work. I tell y'all, man, when I went to Ethiopia, I think I told the story before. They was about to go to war. You had those that were colonized that wanted to continue to be colonized, and you had the others who didn't want the colonization, because Ethiopia was one of the only places in Africa that had never been colonized. You see what I'm saying? So the battle for independence is happening everywhere. It's not just here. Okay. And all I'm saying in a nutshell is we got to stop extending our hands so far to the point where we can't pull it back. Okay. And like Sherman said, what they do over there, that's cool. If what we do over here is cool, if we can come together and try to make some things work, cool. I'm all for that. See what I'm saying? But I just, man, I don't know. I'm like the Placo. You know what I mean? I'm gonna clean the aquarium. I'm like the catfish. I'm gonna clean the bottom of the dam. Whatever. You know, what's no good for me, I'm gonna spit it out. So it is what it is.
And y'all people can't expect stuff out of Qasim, because like I said, he's a warrior. That's why when we started getting together and I said, brother, change your number or limit people contacting you, because the diplomacy part that y'all want from some people, you're not going to get from him. It's not who he is. So it's better for you just to not talk to him and just leave him alone. And if you want some diplomacy, you can get so far with me, but this brother right here, I recognize his warrior spirit from the moment I met him. And his mission is to build an army. That's it. Everything else is outside of the scope.
And let me tell you something about that too. For those of us that deal in diplomacy in the way that we do here on First Sky Omaha, we feel that how Brother Qasim is 100% necessary.
Necessary.
Everybody got to roll.
Yeah. We got our lanes. We can, and if we didn't have Brother Qasim being 100% warrior on this, we wouldn't even have a leg to negotiate with in negotiations.
No,
it's like how Malcolm and Martin got with towards the end. They started meeting and they started saying, "Hey, let's strategize here." Martin would go to them white folks and tell them white folks, "You better deal with me, because if you don't deal with me, you're gonna have to deal with him."
And that's exactly the road Brother Willie should be taking. If he's not an upstander, hey, speak up and do right, or got called to be AA.
We appreciate y'all. we absolutely gonna have you back on a regular basis, of course, talking about everything that needs to happen here. We're coming up on the end of our season, but next season we'll definitely be diving back in. I would love to have Brother Shabazz on the show. We also gonna ask Brother Willie Barney to come on the show and talk as well. We're gonna bring everybody involved because the discussion needs to continue on this. And I feel like I want everybody to understand we are not just discussing things to discuss things. This is a means to an end. You have a discussion so you can get on the page you need to get on the page, so you can get on the action items to get on the action items that you need to, and take some and go forth. Yeah. So there's not, we're not just going to continue to talk for years on this show. We get to points where we looking towards the end of the conversation because something came of it and we moved on it, and that's our goal. That's our intent here. So I appreciate everybody that's joined in. I appreciate everybody that came on the chat. I even appreciate the monitoring spirits coming on here trying to peek and see what's going on. Right. Fire today.
And then I do want to say just quickly that tomorrow, all three of us will be on William King's show. And then Wednesday, I'll be on the show with Chantella Wallace, which is Brother Roscoe's ex-wife. And, you know, his daughter, Shiffy. I've been knowing Shiffy forever. I love her. I grew up with that family. So it's all connected, you know, in Omaha when you talk about the people. And so it's always going to have a basis of love, but at the same time, when you operate and it's 100% strictly for the community, there might be different ideas on how that look, but I appreciate everybody doing whatever they feel like they need to do that's for the people. So
there you go.
We are in the middle of a shift, so
appreciate that. Yep. Appreciate that, Brother King. We're gonna let you brothers go. We'll definitely peep you out on Brother King's show tomorrow, and everywhere else, man. Definitely check out Sherman Wells' YouTube page, his Facebook page if you want to see really what's going on. Friend him on Facebook and everything, so you can see all the videos and all everything that he's putting out there. I think you're on TikTok strong too, right?
Man, video on TikTok done hit 1.3 million views, and the feedback that we're getting from the world, not local, from the world, is this energy was much needed. Jahi is the truth. I love that man. And yeah, his energy has spread globally, and the people are 100. Man, we get messages of they'll pay for us to come to their city to check some people. That's how much it's going crazy right now. So yeah.
All right. Brother Sherman, we appreciate you, Brother Qasim. We appreciate y'all, the work that y'all doing. And, you know, being down here in Atlanta, seeing just Malcolm X was just celebrated, but that energy coming from Omaha, you talk about the world watching. The world is watching. And I used to grow up thinking little Omaha couldn't do nothing, but I'm seeing we impacting the world.
Yeah.
Keep putting in the work.
Yes, sir.
We'll see you soon, brothers.
All right. Peace.
Peace.
Man.
All right, man.
I want to acknowledge Brother Bill King. He says he's rebroadcasting us on 95.7 right now. Hey, okay.
Appreciate
shout out to everybody listening, man. First Guy Omaha, check us out if you haven't. Man, Bill King, thanks for bossing with us, brother.
Man, that's what's up, man. Respect. Appreciate that very much. And even though I said we're gonna not have a 2-hour show, I was right. I was right. We got an over 2-hour show going on right now.
Man, I do want to acknowledge something else.
Yeah.
Brother Roscoe Wallace, man. I feel you. You know, you got called out of your name. You know, brother Qasim, he's entitled to his own opinion. That's that brother, but we do recognize the work that you do. And I would just personally like to say that y'all two brothers, I would love for y'all to get it fixed, if not only for the young men in our community, because y'all two brothers together could really make some impacts on just specifically the young men. I know the work that Brother Roscoe Wallace is doing. I know the work that Brother Qasim is doing. If we can do it together, it can go a lot quicker, a lot farther. So again, man, I appreciate everybody. We doing it on a Real Love Supreme, man. I'm going off an hour and a half of sleep. I just came from the studio like 5 o'clock in the morning. I'm being honest. I do this because I love y'all, and I do this because I love the community. And I'm not tired at all. Actually, I'm charged up. So man, we appreciate y'all. We love y'all. We thank y'all. Paul B, what you got to say, man?
Yeah, man, that's it, man. I'm gonna go ahead and let us go. You said it all. I feel the exact same way, and the exact same reason why we're doing this is for that reason. So we hope to be able to facilitate some conversation here, not just conversation, but explanation. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of people. What's real about what goes on in North Omaha and Omaha in general. I feel like everybody is in their silos. They believe a certain thing. They stick to that, and then they stuck on that. So if we can shine some light, offer some different opinions and perspectives, there might be some more different types of understanding, and because the ultimate thing is to have the love and to get together. The only way that we're going to be able to do it is to get together. Malcolm X said, if we're not outnumbered, we're out organized.
Man,
The only way that we can get organized is if we can at least understand each other. We ain't always got to be on the same page or agree all the time, but we got to at least be able to understand where the other one is coming from. And I play a lot of music on this channel from a cat named Boogie Jones out in California. We grew up thinking we was cousins until we got old enough to realize we weren't, but our families were that close. And we were like brothers, and we kind of went back and forth on a bunch of stuff. We were kind of the total opposites. At one point, though, and probably about 22, 23, in my righteous kind of anger, I was, you got to do this and you need to do that. And Boogie stopped me and said, listen, there's enough people in America to telling me as a black man what I can and can't do. I don't need another black man telling me what I can and can't do. You need to watch how you speak to other black men being a black man. And I remember that lesson strong. And ever since then, it's been for me, that's right. But you know what? I ain't going to tell you what you supposed to be. I'm going to encourage you. I'm going to try to set an example. I'm going to do like my dad and my uncles have done with me. We're trying to set examples and show me ways with respect to me, giving me respect, not just telling me do it this way because I said. I'm gonna do that with everybody. I'm gonna do that with every brother that I come across, especially because we got too many people already telling us what to do around here all the time. It ain't gonna be, you ain't never gonna hear that on this show. We're gonna respect what everybody has to think. We might tell you we disagree. We might figure out how our disagreement can still work. But again, man, it all comes from love and respect. That's the only way we're gonna get anywhere with anything. Love and respect, and coupled with however other people do things, some disrespect, some getting in people's face, and the bottom line is because we need to hold people accountable. We all need to be held accountable. I really feel like the being held accountable part is the most important part here. And if we can do that with love and respect, then we can keep each other sharp. Holding people accountable can also be like sword sharpening sword,
man,
so that we can be better. So that we can be better.
I ain't sharp.
Buddy, the guy, what you got going on over here, bro?
Man, I'm feeling it. I'm feeling the spirit on the Love Supreme tip, man. This is a song I did in conjunction with actually now Nebraska's state lawyer, state poet, Jewel Rogers.
Hey.
But I made this kind of back from Freedom Summer inspired, but here we are dealing with the same things. So I wanted to leave us off on a little Love Supreme tip. This is a song called Killer Hoodies, talking about exactly the same realities we dealing with today with the police. Felt like it was very poignant to leave off on this point.
Right on.
Funny how that Black Lives Matter movement somehow got turned into reverse racism. All them words in Facebook Live get turned into lies and spread like wildfire, too fast to catch. 4,000 shares, 800 comments, 99 angry faces like, yeah, he deserved it. And all I was really saying was respect my skin. Have I not earned it? See, I understand. I am new and of this generation. I will never know the feeling of hanging lifeless from trees like cannibalistic Christmas, where freedom is just an illusion. But here, in this age, we hang on every word the officer says because we know if he tells us to freeze when we are already frozen, if he tells us not to speak when we have already drenched ourselves in silence, I guess them hands just ain't raised high enough. See, this black skin has always been white chalk on the pavement our children will not dare to trace. Beware them killer hoodies.
What's the deal? 93 till, I know you feel it, it's the real. Ain't heard nothing, it's ill. When a little minute suckers say mimic, recreate wills, they still spinning them trying to build infinite guilds. We all villains if they tell it, they always embellish, they all jealous. Don't fuck with you fellas, acting like melanin ain't angelic. I'm such a relic, puffing them lettuce while chasing relish. Looking out for coppers, trying to stop us, they trying to knock us. Racial profile abrogating, could have been the doctor. They think we all shot us, probably pushing narcotics. I was traveling on my way to my pop's crib by the projects till I got stopped by sirens. Tyrants always on some nonsense. My heart stopped quick. Then my partner said, yo, I'm out this. Nickels wildin' out, had a cannon, hit the abandoned house. My hairs are standing out. Hope this cop don't start sparking. I'm a starving artist, not trying to get Trayvon Martin.
Tonight in the case of a neighborhood watch cat.
Yo, I forgot about this, bro. Listen, if you want to see the rest of that track, go to YouTube. Where can they find that, bro? There you go. Y'all forgot about Buddy the God out here, man. Hey,
there's the link.
Check this video out, and the other ones he has on this project. Living Right is my favorite track on that project right there. We used to play it on Mine and Soul all the time. I love it, man. I love it. Your commentary is still very, very, very poignant to right now, to today. So, like you said, what we're going through.
Unfortunately.
This minute. William King says, live new music on 95.7 The
Hey,
Boss.
I forgot we were still.
Put some of that on there, bro.
Hey, man. Shout out.
Yeah, definitely. And shout out, man. Appreciate y'all. Want to get out of here. Pops earlier said, a great show. He said, man, what a show. Says, I have a great love for each of our guests today. Thank you. Appreciate that. So do we, man. And appreciate all of you, man. Love you guys too. Like it's
like, a lot of love in the chat. A lot of love in the chat.
A lot of love. What else could we be doing? This, and trust me, man, this love makes it makes the difference. It makes all the difference. All day long. Makes all the difference. So there you go, buddy. You got an invitation from Brother King. Send that over. Get that on the airwaves.
Got you.
And we'll have some more of that coming, bro. We both working on some things. We'll have some more of that coming.
Hey, shout out to the Dungeon family.
Shout out to all the Umaha tribe elders for allowing us to be on this land and speak while we're here. Shout out to our elders for allowing us to speak before you. And also shout out to our elders for speaking with us on these things too. I appreciate that. You see how we would definitely respect the elders, and we definitely want to hear from you and be honored by your wisdom. Also, shout out to you, the chat chimers, especially who stayed around for the whole time and blessed us with a lot of great comments. A lot of great insights, some more insights on what happened on the day of the 360 meeting. We will continue to talk about this. There's more to talk about when it comes to this. Like I said, I'm going to try to set it up with Brother Jaheed Shabazz to come on. I want to set it up with Brother Willie Barney to come on as well. There's more to talk about here. And if anybody else you could think of that we need to be talking, if we need to get Sharon Hansen on the line, then let us know. Whatever we need to do, because I would love for us to be able to do something, to be able to help this family and get to the bottom line on some stuff and prevent some other things from popping off like this ever again. And if it does, everybody got to be held responsible on this. Everybody got to be held accountable on this. And this is what it's all about. So hopefully we can help with any of that and all of that. And we know that you are here to do that as well. So there you go. That's right, RG.
Man, can't say we ain't did nothing for you.
Got what you wanted today on the real. So we're gonna get out of here, man. And appreciate y'all again, brother Calvin Williams will be joining us Friday to talk about the Freedom Fest that's coming up as well, man. Silk gonna be in town. We're gonna talk a lot about what's happening in the 5 years that he's been doing this, and not just the nighttime events and the nighttime concerts that's attached to this, but some daytime stuff for the family and ways to bring the people together over at the Malcolm X grounds. So shout out to Calvin. Say again?
Brother gave away a car. Sorry to cut you off, but man,
brother gave away washers and dryers, cars, all kinds of stuff over the years now. And the brother will you'll hear from him on Friday, but Empowerment Network helped this brother with some of the DED money in order to be able to do some of these things. So again, it's all connected, and there's rooms and lanes for everything, and we really got to kind of remember all of that while understanding that everybody's role is absolutely important. So hopefully we can be a part of bringing some of that kind of stuff together and be important in that role as well. We're trying our hardest, so we really, really appreciate everybody who gives us efforts, who blesses our efforts to do so. So we appreciate you. Go to firstskyOmaha.com, hit the join button, and become a member of the channel as well. Shout out to the 25 people, the $10 people, the $25 people, and the $50 people. Thank you very much for your support. And everybody else who sometimes gives private gifts, one-offs and donations and stuff to us. Again, you can do it all there, firstskyOmaha.com, donate. And also don't forget, go to the store as well. We're trying to raise money for the Underwood Tennis Group. Some of the part of the proceeds and some of these shirts go there, and also helps us out to continue what we're doing as well. You can go there and hit the shop button and get your shirt on as well. And yes, for those of you were wondering about the 3Xs, still working on that, trying to get some in there for y'all. But we'll keep on with that whole scene as well. So all the ways that you guys can help us continue this, we really appreciate that, and all the organizations that are out there helping us do that as well. Stay tuned for new things coming soon. Stay tuned for Chad Chimers Kickback, and stay tuned for Content Creators Camp. All things coming this summer. We'll have some information out on that this week. And until then, meantime, between time, take care of yourselves, and we'll see you on Wednesday. I didn't give you the last word, buddy. You got some word for the people?
No, you did great. Just the one last thing that is kind of dawning on me is the fact that, again, Brother Bill King might still be rebroadcasting this on 95.7. So if this is your first time hearing First Sky Omaha, this is your first time hearing about us, check us out. You can always rewatch our shows on YouTube, not just all the things that Paul just mentioned, but again, a lot of our content lives on our YouTube page. So make sure you like, share, subscribe. Check us out. First Sky Omaha on YouTube. And if you never watched the show, check us out. We broadcast live Monday, Wednesday, and Friday right on Facebook and YouTube. Join the chat. Join the conversation. Let your mind be free. Let your voice be heard. In the meantime, between time, let's get up out of here, man.
Let's get up out of here. Take care of yourselves. We'll see you Wednesday. Hashtag no schmediums. See you Wednesday.
Peace.
By the way, Vanglorious. This is protected by the Red